And brought to you live via St. Louis, Missouri. This is Bombers Game Mic. I'm Paul D, and tonight is Game 2 of the split doubleheader between the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. And if you were here for any of Game 1, I'd like to thank you all again so much. Crossing 1,000 subscribers, that is a truly amazing feat. And I thank you all so much. And, of course, in that first game, the Cardinals came up short. They lost to the Brewers by a score of 4-3. However, tonight is the nightcap of this split doubleheader. And that means a new game, new situation. And going for the Milwaukee Brewers is the 27-year-old left-hander Robert Gasser. This year in 7 games has a 1-3 record. A 4.54 ERA in 35 2/3 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts in that time, and a whip of 1.29. I believe tonight is going to be his 7th start of the year. And, of course, going for the Cardinals is the right-handed pitcher, Hunter Dobbins, who the last time he pitched for the Cardinals in the starting capacity before getting sent down to Memphis was against the New York Mets. I think he went like 4 1/3, maybe, somewhere like that. Give him about 3 home runs, a couple of home runs. He was fine. He was there in the Businessman Special Getaway Day. I believe that was back on June 11th. And those are your starting pitchers here tonight. Now, let me give you the starting lineups for our two teams here. We're about 2.5 minutes away here from first pitch. The starting 9 for the Milwaukee Brewers. And before I do that, join the Game Mic roll call. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. Leading off at DH is Christian Yelich. Out in center field and batting second is Lara. Hitting and the third position at second base is Bryce Terang. Batting cleanup at first base is Vaughn. Batting fifth out in left field is Jake Bowers. Batting sixth and playing catcher, the backup catcher Sanchez. Batting seventh out in right field is Sal Frelick. Batting eighth at shortstop is the rookie Cooper Pratt. And at third base tonight, just as earlier today in the 9-hole, is Ortiz. Now, here's the starting 9 for the St. Louis Cardinals here in the second half of this double dip. Leading off at second base, his proper position, he was at shortstop earlier, is the NL rookie sensation J.J. Weatherall. Batting second behind the dish tonight is Ivan Herrera. Batting third out in right field is Jordan Walker. And DH tonight is Nelson Velasquez. Batting fifth at first base is Alec Burleson. Batting sixth at shortstop is Mason Wynn. He got the day off in the first one with the exception of the pinch running duty that he assumed in the bottom of the ninth. Batting seventh out in left field is Jose Fermin. Batting eighth at the hot corner is Blaze Jordan. And batting ninth out in center field is Nate Church. So we're just a couple of minutes away here from scheduled first pitch. Join the Game Mic roll call. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. And we go to the chat. KCM, batting leadoff, our resident Brewers fan. KCM, woohoo! Can't wait for another awesome call from Paul D. Thank you so much, KCM. And 1,000 subscribers and only the start. Road to 100,000 starts now. I only have to do it 99 more times, but thank you, KCM. Now, taking the field is the St. Louis Cardinals, and specifically Hunter Dobbins. Once again, they are in their standard home white tops and bottoms with the birds on the bat, red letters and numbers. Red primary ball cap with the white interlocking STL on the front. He's going to begin warming up here in a moment. Eric Boyce, let's win this game. Most definitely. Ron Lyle, good evening, Cards fans. Make sure to hit the like button and speak to host Paul D and the chat. Sit back and enjoy the game. Great night to get a win. Cheers to the Green Mountain State. Hunter Dobbins 1-0, a 3.63 ERA, 7 walks against 19 strikeouts. Throws basically a four-seamer about a third of the time, a slider, sinker, sweeper, split finger curve. Pretty standard selection. How am I doing, Ron? I'm doing fine. I had actually a very good break between the two. I was chatting with the channel Jolly Good Takes, a.k.a. Liam. He is the British San Francisco Giants fan, and San Francisco sports more generally. He and I are going to be calling the All-Star game together a week from tonight, so that's something to look forward to. Delta Leader. A card 4-3 win would be fitting for this game. I have a feeling it's going to be a great game. I really hope so, Delta, and welcome back. Happy Hodag. I definitely heard about the early game from folks online this afternoon. No surprise since I reside in Brewers territory. A brave man. A brave one. The Brewers have never won a title, and you act as though you have. Go Cardinals. David Hodge throwing out the grenade over the top of the wire. Now here comes Christian Yelich. They are once again wearing their navy tops and gray bottoms with the yellow letters and numbers with a somewhat script Milwaukee across the chest there at an angle, with the yellow fronts to both their caps and helmets and the navy back with the really cool MB logo that looks like a mitt. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Hunter Dobbins on the bump. He comes one. The first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball inside quarter below the belt, and the count is 0-1. Getting away for myself. We are underway. Got to change pages there on the stream deck. Coming one, the 0-1 to Yelich. It looks like a slider down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Let's hit 200 likes tonight. Boy, I hope so, Ron. Christian Yelich hitting 247. Whoa, the 0-1, the 1-1. That looks like a cutter in, and the count is 2-1. Christian Yelich earlier, I believe, went 3 for 5. Winding is Dobbins, the 2-1. A four-seam fastball down and in and out of the zone. The count is 3-1. Happy Odeg. I wonder if Paul is having internet issues tonight. No, I'm not. I was just chatting with my wife before I came on. Coming winds Dobbins, the 3-1 to Yelich. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway, clock 94 miles an hour, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Infield defense clearly shaded towards right with the lefty Yelich. Dobbins winds, a 3-2 offering. Chop foul down the first base side, out of play on the slider. The count is 3-2. Jolly good take. Shout out to you, Paul D. Great chat. Sorry I talked too much. You didn't talk too much. You're a great conversation, man. I'll get to the rest in a moment. Center fielder Lara is on deck. He winds the 3-2. Foul down the third base side and out of play. No. Oh, don't. There's nothing to apologize for, Liam. I really enjoyed our chat. You and I were talking baseball, England, the United States. Are you kidding? Time flew by, man. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game in a week. Back into the box is Christian Yelich. It's a 3-2 count. Coming wind is Dobbins, a 3-2. Hit to the left side, fielded there by Wynn on the ground. He throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. So, Christian Yelich grounds out 6-3 for the first out. And now here is the center fielder, Lara. He's given Garrett Mitchell, I believe, the night off here. Righty-lefty matchup. Coming winds Dobbins, the first pitch. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. This is Luis Lara's MLB debut, so his first at-bat. It's a 1-0 count, the 1-0 pitch. Strike, slider on the inside quarter below the belt, and the count is 1-1. One thing the Cardinals need tonight from Hunter Dobbins is innings and quality innings. He comes wide. He deals a splitter a little too high. Challenged immediately there by Herrera, and I think he has a good challenge to make here. I think it clipped the upper portion of the strike zone. And indeed it did. The call is overturned, and it is now a 1-2 count. A 1-2 count here. Yeah, and it clipped it pretty steadily. Something you'll notice about Ivan Herrera, he has changed from wearing the hockey mask to the standard catcher's mask. I noticed that back in the Cubs series in the first game back on Friday. Hunter Dobbins winds, 1-2 to Lara. A four-seam fastball well inside, jackknifes out of the way. The count comes even at 2-2. What's up, everyone? I think just a wonderful stuff here. The 2-2 pitch. Check swing on the slider down and in. He did not go around. The count is 3-2. And Jazz Wolf with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Tacoma Nomad checking in. Cheers to Tacoma. It's a 3-2 count. Infield clearly shaded towards right with the lefty Lara. Coming winds Dobbins, the 3-2 pitch. Hit down the third base side, now to play and into the stands. Count remains 3-2. He gets back into the box. It's a 3-2 count. Nobody on with one out, top of the first inning. Coming wide, the 3-2. Hit on up the middle. Fielded there on a couple hop by Mason Wynn behind second. Throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. So like Christian Yelich before him, Lara bounces out 6-3 for the second out. Oh, well, thank you so much, Harold. I really appreciate it. It's been an amazing run so far. I mean, how lucky am I? Really? Now, here's Bryce Terang, the 3-hitter, hitting .265. Here's the first pitch. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 0-1. In the first game, Bryce Terang had the hat trick in terms of strikeouts, hitting .265, 12 home runs, 53 RBIs in 86 games. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball in, and the count is now no balls and 2 strikes. Well, thank you so much, Sinbin Stream. I really appreciate it. And I've heard about you. Defensive alignment for the Cardinals. Fermin in left, Church in center, Walker in right. Blaze Jordan at third. Mason Wynn hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. Chasing it down, going right there in front of the track. Picking it up is Walker, going down to second. Sliding with a 2-out double is Bryce Terang. And now the Brewers have a runner on second with 2 out here in the top of the first inning. To complete that defensive alignment, Weatherholt is at second, Burleson is at first. Herrera is the battery mate tonight for Hunter Dobbins. Now, in that case, the outfield defense was much more shaded towards left. So, in the case of Jordan Walker, it took him a much longer run before being able to cut off that ball right there at the lip of the warning track. Now, here's the 4-hitter tonight, Vaughn, hitting .326. This is normally William Contreras' hole, but he's getting, at least initially, the second game off. Righty-righty matchup. Coming set from the stretch is Dobbins, the first pitch. A sweeper just off the outside corner and low, and the count is 1-0. CH man. A gent at that. Here's a pitch. A sweeper down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Really a great guy. I like him a lot. His streams are really chill and enjoyable. Andrew Vaughn hitting .326, 2 home runs, 24 RBIs in 49 games, and .918 OPS. Righty-righty matchup. Leading off second is Terang, following the 2-out double. From the stretch is Dobbins, the pitch. Fouled down the first base side and out of play, and the count is 2-1. No, and I've heard him reference you. So you got in there in the programming, and I'm glad you've come by and said hello and made yourself known. Nick, nice work, everyone, for helping Paul D get to 1,000 subs. Well, I'll tell you this, Nick, you are a big part of that. You're part of the vanguard here. Dobbins comes set at the Birds, the 2-1. A sinker off the outside corner ruled a ball, and the count is 3-1. He's a good receiver, Delta. You can't throw guys out, but pitchers like throwing to him. Dobbins comes set at the Birds. The 3-1 offering. Swinging strike on the slider down and in. Down to one knee there was Vaughn. And the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. And it was actually a pretty good slider. He lost his balance there. Hitting .326, he doesn't lose his balance often. Coming set is Dobbins. He deals. Called strike 3 on the sweeper on the inside corner for the final out of the inning. So, no runs, 1 hit, no walks, 1 left on. After 1/2 inning of play, it is the Milwaukee Brewers nothing and the St. Louis Cardinals coming to bat. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mic. All right. Yeah, definitely a nice start. Hunter Dobbins seems to be doing all right. Nick, 39 likes, 136 people watching. Don't forget to hit that like, everybody. Nick, part of the Vanguard. Oh, well, thank you so much, Sinbin Stream. I really appreciate that. That means a lot coming from a colleague that's doing the same thing I'm doing. I take that very seriously. I'm looking forward to dropping in and seeing what you're all about as well. And, of course, you know, as far as, like, self-promotion in the chat goes, if you want to share the link to your stream and channel, feel free to do that in the chat there. You have my full endorsement to do so. Us play-by-play guys, we got to look out for each other. All right, due up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the first inning is Weatherall, Herrera, and Jordan Walker. All right. So, they're going to be facing Gasser, who has been pretty decent as a left-handed hitter. Excuse me, a left-handed pitcher. Obviously, both teams have been stretching to get the starting pitching for this, and on top of that being a 5-game series. All right, we're back for the bottom of the first inning. Stepping into the box is going to be J.J. Weatherall. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup. Robert Gasser in 7 starts, 1-3 with a 4.54 ERA, 13 walks against 36 strikeouts, a whip of 1.29. He has a little more than a strikeout per inning. He does not walk many guys, so he's in the strike zone. He misses bats. The first pitch to Weatherall. Strike, 4-seam fastball on the inner third below the belt. A sinker, and the count is 0-1. He throws a sweeper, a sinker, a 4-seamer, a cutter, and a changeup. The 0-1 pitch. Strike, cutter on the inside corner below the belt, and the count is 0-2 to J.J. Weatherall. .266, 12 home runs, 34 RBIs in 75 games. The 0-2 pitch. Hit down the third base side out of place, spoiling that sweeper away. Staying alive is Weatherall. The count is 0-2. Back onto the bump is Gasser. He comes set below the letters. He deals. A sweeper away and out of the zone, slightly over the righty batter's box. The count is 1-2. Yeah, CH is a nice guy. Very knowledgeable about his baseball and his Dodgers. He comes set. The 1-2 to Weatherall. A sinker down and away and out of the zone. The count comes even at 2-2. So J.J. Weatherall is finding and working his way back into this at-bat. Ivan Herrera's on deck. He had a solo home run back in Game 1. Coming set is Gasser. He deals. Hit to the left side. Fielded there deep and short by Ortiz. He throws to first just in time to get Weatherall flying down the line for the first out of the inning. So you can score that 5-3 for the first out. Defensive lineman for the Brewers, Bowers in left, Lara in center, Fralick in right, Ortiz at third, Pratt at short, Terang at second, Vaughn at first, Gary Sanchez, the former Yankee, the battery mate to Robert Gasser, who is on the mound. Now here is Ivan Herrera, had a solo home run back in the bottom of the third inning of Game 1. This is a lefty-righty matchup. Coming set is Gasser. The first pitch to Herrera. Strike, 4-seam fastball on the inside corner below the belt. And the count is 0-1. Thank you so much, Sinbin. I'm a big jersey guy. I've been collecting them for about 20 years. The 0-1 pitch. A 4-seam fastball upstairs and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. No, jerseys are very important to me. They're just one of those things, you know. I've loved them since I was a kid. Gasser comes set below the letters. The pitch. Fouled straight back on the cutter down Broadway. Clocked 87 miles an hour out of the left-handed Gasser. And the count is 1-2 to Ivan Herrera. And that home run earlier came off of the Miz. So that was definitely nothing cheap. Same with Jordan Walker. Coming set is Gasser. He deals. And there's a pop-up out there into foul territory just right of first. Underneath it is Vaughn for the second out of the inning. So Ivan Herrera fouls out just to the right of first. the put out 3 in your scorecard for the second out. Now, here is Jordan Walker, who in the bottom of the first inning against Mizorowski hit a 2-run home run to left. At the time, gave the Cardinals a 2-0 lead. And once again, just like Herrera, that was not cheap. Common sense Gasser, lefty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Hit to the left side and into left field through the hole between short and third for a 2-out single. So the Cardinals have a runner on first with 2 out here in the bottom of the first inning. And now here comes Nelson Velasquez, who generally hits in the left hand anytime he's in the platoon here, and the Cardinals are facing a left-hand pitcher. So it's a pretty standard choice for Ollie Marmol. Coming set is Gasser. He holds, he deals. And there is a pop just behind second base. Looks like underneath it is Terang. He squeezes it for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no walks, 1 left on. After 1 full inning of play, there is no score here in Game 2 of the Double Dip down in downtown St. Louis on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. I'm Paul D., and this is Bombers Game Mike. All right. Oh, well, thank you so much, Liam. That means a lot. Like I said, you guys are my colleagues. You know, it matters. We got to look out for each other. You know, this is one of those things where YouTube is such a big place that there's no good reason we shouldn't. We are kind of part of that second wave of baseball creators on YouTube, you know, like following like Foolish Baseball and Made the Cut and all those guys that we all know and love and watch every single day. Pitching Ninja. I'm sure everybody here, especially Sinbin and Liam there, know exactly what I'm referencing. All right. 55 likes, 177 people watching. Hit that like button. Nick leading the vanguard. Good to see you, JoJo. So we await the top of the second inning. Hunter Dobbins will be coming out for his second frame. He's going to face Bowers, Gary Sanchez, and Frelick. So 5, 6, and 7 in the Brewers' order. All right. Rush Dash, welcome back. A fellow resident of St. Charles. Though I won't be living in St. Charles much longer. We're moving to West County in a couple of days. All right, we are back here for the top of the second inning. Leading it off is going to be the left fielder Bowers. Righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch from Bowers. Hit on out there into shallow center field. Going back is Mason Wynn. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the first down of the inning. So, Bowers flies out. Put out 6 in your scorecard for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out there for Hunter Dobbins. Now here comes Gary Sanchez. And who would have thought a decade ago he was setting the Yankee world on fire? It didn't last. And it's very unfortunate because he's very talented. In 51 games, 218, 8 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 815 OPS. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. Nobody on with 1 out. Top of the second, no score. Hunter Dobbins looks in. He comes one. The first pitch to Sanchez. A four-seam fastball just off the corner away, and the count is 1-0. I remember when he came up mid-season back in 2016. The Yankees weren't going anywhere that year, and they were getting ready to rebuild. The 1-0 pitch. Strike, a slider on the inside corner below the belt, and the count is 1-1. And this kid just came out of nowhere. He was like Albert Pujols in 2001, just not a full season. And now here's a pitch. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. But it was a harbinger of something much bigger, and that was Aaron Judge. He did not fall off, though he is certainly on the IL. The 2-1, hit on out there into center field. Right there is Nate Church. He hauls it in for the second out of the inning. Put out 8 in your scorecard for the second half by Gary Sanchez. Next pitch is going to be Hunter Dobbins' 30th on the night. Fantasy Football Reaper. Love that YouTube name. I live in North County by Hazelwood. I'm very jealous of you. Hey. I'm just glad we're all in St. Louis. Now, here's Sal Frelick hitting 238 on the air. Here's the pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball inside corner at the knees, and the count is 0-1. I can't believe Mason Wynn didn't make the All-Star team. I'll get to all that in a moment. The 0-1 pitch. A splitter away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. So we all know that Jordan Walker was the only guy who made the team. He's a reserve, and he deserves to be there. Coming winds, Dobbins. He deals. Head on out there to right field. Right there is Jordan Walker battling the setting sun. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. The Brewers go down in order after 1.5 innings of play. It is no score here in Game 2 of the Double Dip down in downtown St. Louis on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. I'm Paul D. And if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying my call of Redbird action here in Game 2 of the doubleheader here on Game Mike, please leave a like. It really is helping this channel get these streams out to Cardinal fans right now who are having trouble following them every day. 3 or 4 different subscriptions. You're not even sure where they're on. More money to Jeff Bezos. You get the idea. And I'm calling almost every Cardinal game, save this weekend due to internet difficulties. However, with that said, and if you feel I deserve it, hey, by all means, I appreciate it, and I am very grateful. You like what you see and you're not already subscribed? Hit subscribe. We'd love to have you aboard. With that said, no score going to the bottom of the second inning. 2 up for the Cardinals is Alec Burleson, Mason Wynn, and Jose Fermin. 5, 6, 7 in the Cardinal order. Dwayne Smith, I grew up in Hazelwood. Interesting. Harold, I lived in Hazelwood years ago before everything left. Fair enough. I don't do super chats as well. Braylon, you are the one who does super chats. And you have been so incredibly generous and gracious. Both you and your dad, just outstanding people. I worked at Bulk Mall Center when I was young. Is that Mall or Mall Center when I was young. Ate at Mattingly's occasionally. Good years. Before my time, certainly. Paul, did you see? Riley O'Brien isn't... Is he really? No... Really? Not J.J. Weatherall. No, it's Riley O'Brien, huh? I think I did see a little something about that, but now that I'm actually, comprehending what that actually means, it's like, wait, what? What just happened here? Common set is Gasser. The first pitch to Burleson. Four-seam fastball away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. Alec Burleson's hitting 277. In the 5-hole tonight, Gasser comes set. He deals. Swinging strike on the sinker, well down and in, and the count is 1-1. Really doing him a favor there. Alec Burleson hitting 277 with 14 home runs, 63 RBIs in 88 games at 807 OPS. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, no score. The 1-1 pitch. Head out there to right field. If it's fair, it's gone. And it slices foul for a very, very long and loud second strike. So we were talking about all-star selections here and Mason Wynn getting stubbed. Okay. I mentioned this a little bit prior. The Cardinals are getting very little national coverage. And it's not like the old days from 10 or even 20 years ago where, they're packing out Busch every night and they can stuff the ballot box and, make anybody you want an all-star. Gasser comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper, down and away for the first out of the inning. So Alec Burleson goes down hacking for the first out. Now here comes Mason Wynn. It'll be a lefty-righty matchup. So the big snub, as far as I'm concerned, is J.J. Weatherholt. All right, I've watched almost every game he's played this year, and he's one of the best second basemen in baseball. I know he doesn't have the average that Luis Arez does, but he has a lot of production in other respects, too. I think he has more home runs than RBIs. And his WAR is one of the best for second baseman. Common sets, Gasser. The first pitch to Win. Hit on out there into right field. Going over is Fralick in front of the track. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Put out 9 in your scorecard for the second out. So that's the big snub as far as I'm concerned. And you know what? But this is the way I feel about this. You have 2 guys that are going to the All-Star game now. Now, here's Jose Fermin. Jose Fermin's out in left field tonight. All-Star selections are a half-year award. Gassier comes set. The first pitch of Fermin. Four-seam fastball down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. And is it annoying that, certain Cardinals don't get the recognition they deserve? Yeah, especially when they deserve it. Gasser sets below the letters. He deals. Hit to the left side and over shortstop and into left field for a base hit. So a 2-out single to the left there by Jose Fermin, and the Cardinals have a runner on first with 2 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Coming up is the rook at the hot corner tonight, the 8-hitter Blaze Jordan. He did not play in Game 1. Jose Fermin started at third. But I'll give you a slightly Yankee attitude on that in a moment. I'll explain what I mean by that. Runner on first from the stretch is Gasser. He remains in the stretch throughout. The first pitch. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. Clock 94 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Is that as Cardinal fans, even if it's not necessarily realistic this year, Cardinals don't play for All-Star selections. They play for rings. Coming set is Gasser. The pitch. A cutter downstairs and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. So while I'm annoyed that a guy like J.J. Weatherholt gets overlooked, Blaze Jordan hitting .234, 1 home run, 13 RBIs in 19 games, a .613 OPS. Runner on first with 2 out. It's a 2-0 count. Bottom of the second inning, no score. The lefty Gasser, he comes set below the letters. The pitch. Hit to the left side, picked up there at short by Cooper Pratt. Tosses over Trang, covering at second to get the force for the third and final out of the inning. So, no runs, 1 hit, no walks, 1 left on. We go to the top of the third inning. No score here in Game 2 of the Double Dip. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. I don't really stress over it. You want to know why? Fine. Cardinals will catch other teams by surprise. I'm cool with that. They'll catch other fans by surprise. I'm cool with that too. Because at the end of the day, the Cardinals really are about one thing in terms of the business side of things, right? Is that they play for keeps. They always have. They've done it with a great deal of dignity and class, and Cardinal fans are, tops in baseball. And these are really good teams with great players, great character. But all-star snubs, it's like, fine. You know what? Let J.J. Weatherholt get a few days off and go, largemouth bass fishing. He needs a little bit of time off. Going to the All-Star game as a player is a very demanding event. So they can use the time off. We all know they're amazing, and that's really what counts. That, and at the end of the day, the Cardinals have 1 remit. It's not All-Star selections, it's rings. All right. Alrighty. So due up here for the Brewers in the top of the third inning is going to be Cooper Pratt, followed by Ortiz, and then Christian Yelich. So 8, 9, and 1 in the Brewer order. Howard, good evening, Paul. What's happening, Cardinals fans? Just here for Game 2, my man. Barry Bueno. It's a popularity contest. That's why it's all Braves and Dodgers. Fair enough. But with my wonderful colleague and new friend, Liam, channel Jolly Good Takes, he and I are going to be calling the All-Star game a week from tonight. I'm really looking forward to that. Really cool dude. Knows a ton about baseball. Love his giant streams. Coming on Dobbins, the first pitch to Pratt. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball on the outside corner. The count is 0-1. Cooper Pratt, the rookie, hitting 196. It's a righty-righty matchup. Dobbins comes one, the 0-1. Strike, four-seam fastball whispers over the black of the outside corner above the knees, and the count is 0-2. Trisk, congrats on 1K. Awesome job, Paul D. and the Bomberettes. Is that what the audience is called now? I guess that has been put in for submission. Dobbins winds the 0-2. A slider away and over the lefty batter's box. Count is 1-2. You know, Trisk, you in particular are somebody that I want to thank in a moment. Cooper Pratt, 196, no home runs, 2 RBIs in 19 games, a 538 OPS. Dobbins winds the 1-2. Hit on out there into right field. Going back is Jordan Walker towards the corner. He's tracking it down in front of the wall. It hits up and caroms over his head. He picks it up. Pratt is going around second. He's going to third. Here's the throw. Here's the play. And it's well wide of third. And Cooper Pratt has himself a leadoff triple here for the Brewers in the top of the third inning. So when Jordan Walker was trying to track that thing down, he was very much shaded towards center as opposed to right. It got in, the carom went over his head, which ultimately allowed Cooper Pratt to go to third as opposed to just staying at second. So that's the story there. But Trisk, you in particular, you know about my successes and my benchmarks before I do, and then I check in the morning and I see this comment from you. I'm like, oh my goodness. Now the first pitch to Ortiz. A sinker just misses off the outside corner. And the count is 1-0. Righty-righty matchup. Cardinals are up on the lip of the infield grass to try to cut down Cooper should he try to go home on a ground ball. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the splitter, down and in, and the count is 1-1. Yeah, that was a pretty nasty splitter there. Had some good late life on it. Ortiz hitting 220 on the year. Runner on third, nobody out. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Foul down the first base side and out of play, and the count is 1-2. Ortiz in 77 games, 222 home runs, 21 RBIs, a 572 OPS. Dobbins looks into Herrera. He comes set at the Birds. He deals. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper, down and away for the first down of the inning. A very nasty sweeper there by Dobbins. Good late life. Ortiz swinging over the top of it. So now a runner on third with 1 out in the top of the third inning. No score. Back to the top of the lineup here with Christian Yelich. Righty-lefty matchup. Once again, the Cardinal infield defense on the lip of the grass. The first pitch. A four-seam fastball just off the inside corner ruled a ball, and the count is 1-0. Christian Yelich 0 for 1 with a ground out. 246, 6 home runs, 30 RBIs in 57 games. He was injured for a spell. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball in on the trademark, and the count is 1-1. All right. Bomberettes, yeah. Yeah, the year they did a homer off at the end of the game to determine the winner is the year I swore I wouldn't involve myself with such silliness again. Okay. Coming sets Dobbins, the 1-1 to Yelich. Hit on up the middle, fielded there in front of second, picked up by Mason Wynn, throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. Scoring from third is Cooper Pratt, and the Brewers have a 1-0 lead. Even with the infield defense in, the fact that Mason Wynn had to range somewhat to his left basically guaranteed that Cooper Pratt was going to be able to score on that ground ball. Now, here's the lefty Lara, who is making his MLB debut tonight. Righty-lefty matchup, he's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there to right field. Jordan Walker coming in, and he makes a diving catch head first for the third and final out of the inning. However, 1 run on 1 hit. No walks. Nobody left on. After 2.5 innings of play, it is 1-0 Milwaukee going to the bottom of the third inning. I'm Paul D., and this is Bombers Game Mike. Okay. Well, the thing about the All-Star Game is just how much the baseball establishment overreacted to the tie up in Milwaukee in 2002. The fact that It was just like one of those things where like, oh, we can't let this happen again. Well, you could have avoided it in the first place by not having to make sure everybody gets into the game and then freaking out when it's a tie in an exhibition ball game. And then for what, like the better part of a decade, the winner of the All-Star game, that league has, home field advantage in the World Series. Like, man, you could tell in real time that was like the worst idea ever. But here we are. Q-Man, Paul, I learned today that Paul Skeens will face The Miz Sunday. Means they won't pitch the All-Star game. You think Palante will be added? Interesting question. For some reason, really, he is pitching on Sunday. That's going to be a bit of an issue. It's possible. It's possible. I would have to think through other pitchers in the league. I mean, Palante's had a very good year. But honestly, I'm not sure, Q-Man. That would take some contemplation on my part. I don't know how Dave Roberts is thinking, honestly. Hey, Scott Ree, Biloxi, ... Go Cardinals. Yeah, absolutely. All right, due up for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the third inning is going to be Nate, Church, Weatherhall, and Herrera. 9-1-2 in the Cardinal order. Nice night down there at Busch. 1-0 Brewers going to the bottom of the third inning. Gasser should be out there for his third frame. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup. The first pitch to Nate Church. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball on the inside corner. The count is 0-1. Oh, yeah, Howard, I hate that rule. I hate it more than life itself. The ghost runner in the regular season, oh, it's awful. Coming sets, Gasser. He deals. Fouled straight back on the sweeper away, and the count is now no balls and 2 strikes. So, nobody on, nobody out, bottom of the third inning. 1-0 Milwaukee. They scored their one run in the top of the third. Coming sets, Gasser. He deals. Head on out there into right center field. Giving chase is Sal Frelick. He comes in. He makes a diving head-first slide for the catch for the first out of the inning. Sal Frelick basically came out of nowhere head first. Sliding belly on the grass. Managed to haul that thing in. And that's the first out of the inning. Alrighty. Sam Foreman, let's get some runs. Maybe being down will help them because we have been up against Milwaukee and it hasn't been good. Now, here's J.J. Weatherall. He's 0 for 1. Lefty-lefty matchup. The first pitch. Swinging strike on the cutter on the outer third. The count is 0-1. 0 for 1 with a ground out. Hitting .266, 13 home runs, 36 RBIs in 85 games, 770 OPS. The other part of Weatherall's game that's totally underrated by all of baseball. The 0-1 pitch, a sinker low and away, and the count is 1-1, is that they don't realize just how good a defender Weatherall is. I mean, here's the thing. We have Jimmy Crooks playing part-time duty. You have Blaze Jordan playing every day, and you have J.J. Weatherall. The 1-1 pitch, head on out there in the right field. Going over is Sal Frelick in front of the track. He hauls it in right center field for the second out of the inning. And of the three of them, obviously J.J. Weatherall broke camp with the Cardinals, went north. And from day one, he's never looked like a rookie. Not at the plate, not in the field, not with his mentality. He looks like he was born out there. And I apologize for being repetitive. It's just an incredible thing. Now, here's Ivan Herrera. It's a lefty-righty matchup. Herrera's 0 for 1, fouled out in his first at-bat. Here's the pitch. A changeup well out of the way. Gets past Gary Sanchez, floated over the lefty batter's box. Count is 1-0. Herrera, 255, 11 home runs, 40 RBIs. That 11th one came this afternoon. Nobody on with 2 out, bottom of the third inning. It's 1-0 Milwaukee. The lefty Gasser comes set below the letters. He deals. A changeup just off the plate away, and the count is 2-0. Yeah, you know exactly what you're looking at, Harold. It's an incredible thing. Gasser comes set, the 2-0. Hit down the left field line and goes slicing well into the stands on the four-seam fastball. The count is 2-1. Brother Joe Brother Paul, good evening. Sorry about the first game. I was working. Number 25 on the likes. Good evening, everybody. Cardinals in. Easton win. Neither win severely bad. Brewers are at 57. Yeah. Yeah. Back into the box is Ivan Herrera. Nobody on with 2 out. Bottom of the third inning. 1-0 Milwaukee. The 2-1 pitch. A sweeper downstairs and out of the zone. The count is 3-1. Back into the box is Herrera. Coming set below the letters is Gasser. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4 on the sweeper on the inside corner. So Ivan Herrera works a 2-out walk, and the Cardinals have a runner on first with 2 out in the bottom of the third inning. And here comes Jordan Walker. He's 1 for 1. First at bat had a 2-out single to left. Was stranded at first. 292, 21 home runs, 69 RBIs in 87 games, and 887 OPS. Lefty-righty matchup. Herrera leads off first. Coming set is Gasser. The first pitch to Walker. Strike, a cutter on the inside corner, thigh high, and the count is 0-1. That came in at 88 miles an hour. Don't worry about it, Joe. I get it. Believe me, I have just like terrible thumbs when it comes to that. He comes set below the letters. Here's the pitch. Hit down toward third base. Deep in the hole by Ortiz. Throws from left field. Throws to first. And he is punched out at first. And Jordan Walker is immediately pointing over to the dugout to try to request an official review. So we are going to see exactly what we're dealing with here. Let's see if Ollie Marmol follows through. I mean, this was bang, bang in the extreme. So stand by. That was the 34th pitch for Glasser, by the way. I mean, the play was incredible on the part of Ortiz. He was throwing that thing out of left field. It got to first base on a wide hop. And let's see. Oh, I think it's actually a tie, personally. Let's see it here. Oh, I think it's a tie, and the tie has to go to the runner, but they're not reviewing it. Oh, all right. Okay. Fine. So be it. No runs, no hits, 1 walk, 1 left on. After 3 full innings of play, it is 1-0 Milwaukee going to the top of the 4th inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my call of Redbird action here on Game Mike for this Game 2 of our double dip tonight against Milwaukee, and you haven't done so already, please do leave a like. It really is helping the stream get out there to more Cardinal fans and baseball fans. I don't need to explain to you the broadcast situation. If you're watching, you might already be very much aware of it. That goes for Brewers fans as well, goodness. And if you like what you see and you're not subscribed already, hit subscribe. We have a wonderful growing community here, a lot of fun. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. I was a little shocked by that myself, but you know what? As they say in Yankee land, that's baseball season. Let's go to the chat. Q-Man, so what pitcher from L.A. will we get for Newt and May? Wow. I don't have an exhaustive knowledge of Dodger prospects. You know, I was throwing around earlier that, you know, with the situation going on with Aaron Judge, the Yankees could conceivably consider that option. I'm not saying that rumor's out there. I'm not saying I heard it anywhere. I'm just kind of putting the math together. Hi, Paul and everybody. Hey, Jimmy, good to see you. Welcome back. Alrighty. Yeah, a tie is the umpire's discretion. I found that out. Yeah. Oh, well. Now, here's the first pitch to Bryce Terang. A 4-seam fastball jackknifes out of the way, and the count is 1-0. Bryce Terang is 1 for 1. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. The 1-0 pitch. Hit foul down the third base side and out of play, and the count is 1-1. Bryce Terang 1 for 1 with a double. Next pitch is going to be Hunter Dobbins, 47th. He comes wide. He deals. Foul down the third base side and out of play on the 4-seam fastball away. Clock 96 miles an hour. The count's 1-2. We might have the baddest home run king since Mark McGwire. That's Newpart trade. I'd be very curious to know what would actually be on offer. Coming winds Dobbins, the 1-2 pitch. A splitter just off the inside corner, thigh high, ruled a ball, and the count is 2-2. Alrighty. There we go, 2-2. Dobbins winds the 2-2 pitch. Hit to the right side, fielded by Witherhull on the ground. Throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. So, Bryce Terang grounds out 4-3 for the first out. Now, here comes the righty Vaughn. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. He is the cleanup hitter tonight. At least initially, William Contreras getting the second game off. Coming winds Dobbins, the first pitch to Vaughn. Four-seam fastball off the outside corner, ruled the ball, and the count is 1-0. He winds the 1-0 pitch. Strike, a sinker whispers over the black of the outside corner above the knees. The count is 1-1. Vaughn hitting .324 on the year. Winding is Dobbins. The pitch fouled down the first base side. Out of play of the four-seam fastball up and in. He gets back into the box. Nobody on with one out. Top of the fourth inning. 1-0 Milwaukee. Dobbins winds. He deals. There's a fly ball out there to left field. Coming in is Fairmean. Calls for it. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Next pitch will be Hunter Dobbins' 54th. Now, here's the lefty, Jake Bowers. He's out in left field for this game. He was at first earlier today. He's 0 for 1 with the flyout, 269 on the year. Righty-lefty matchup, nobody on with two out, top of the fourth inning. Now, here's the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball, outer third, thigh high, and the count is 0-1. That came in at 94 miles an hour. The 0-1 offering. A slider down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Dobbins winds the 1-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the Uncle Charlie on the outside corner. Swung out over the top of that one, and the count is 1-2. Hunter Dobbins 1 strike away from ending this top of the fourth inning. He looks in, shakes it off a couple of times from Herrera. He has his pitch. He winds the 1-2 offering. Swinging strike 3. Down, hack, and goes Bowers. For the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. 1, 2, 3, go the Brewers. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 Milwaukee. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Now, due up for the Cardinals, let's see here. It's going to be, I believe, Velasquez, Burleson, and Wynn, 4, 5, and 6 in the order. Good evening, everyone. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. 411 sure, Mariners fan here. Also, how's CT looking? He's doing okay. He's down in AA. He's down in AA. He's developing. He's an interesting piece that, you know, we traded for Brandon Donovan there. I was really excited when they got him. I think the Cardinals are more amenable to him pitching with both hands than the Mariners were, based on what I have seen. No, it wasn't. You know, it was not Walker's best play, Sam, and you're absolutely right by that. He was. They just had him shaded some out of alignment. But the fact of the matter is that it was pretty standard based on how the Cardinals have been dealing with hitters in terms of their outfield alignment with nobody on. Let me see your war face. God, that's a good movie. An intense movie. It's not a movie you can watch, you know, just put on while you're doing something. It's a movie you sit down for. It's intense in a lot of ways. And it also doesn't, most people think about the first 30 minutes of Full Metal Jacket. Rightfully so. Arlie Ermy is kind of hard to forget. All right, we're back for the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 Brewers here in Game 2 of the Double Dip. Stepping into the box is Nelson Velasquez. He is the DH here tonight. He's the 4-hitter. Oh, is he banged up again? I'm sorry to hear that. I always like Brandon Donovan. Back onto the bump is the southpaw Gasser. It'll be a lefty-righty matchup. He comes set. First pitch, Velasquez. A four-seam fastball upstairs, rule the ball. The count is 1-0. He's 0 for 1 with a flyout. 265, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs in 21 games at 861 OPS. In part-time duty. Set is Gasser, the 1-0 pitch. He popped him up there just into shallow right field. Underneath it is Terang calling for it. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So, Velasquez effectively pops out for the first out. Now here's Alec Burleson. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout tonight. Nobody on with 1 out, bottom of the fourth inning. Lefty-lefty matchup. Gasser, this will be his 38th pitch. He comes set. He deals. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by Terang on a hop. Throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. So Alec Burleson bounces out 4-3 for the second out. Now here's Mason Wynn, the righty hitting shortstop for St. Louis. As he makes the long walk to the box from the Cardinal on deck circle. He gets a brief reprieve there by the home plate umpire to take a couple of half practice swings, and he steps into the box. Nobody on, 2 out, bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. Lefty-righty matchup. A Gasser comes set. He deals. A cutter up and away and out of the zone, clocked 88 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Oh, yeah. Yep. I've never figured out how to say his name properly. I always thought it was like Sinte. I believe he's from Curacao. The 1-0 pitch. Cutter strike on the outer third below the belt. The count is 1-1. Oh, interesting question, Q-Man. I don't have plans for it at the moment, but I'll explain. The 1-1 pitch. Strike, sweeper down Broadway. Taken all the way there is Mason Wynn for the second strike. It's 1-2. I mean, we'll see, Q-Man. I don't really have a plan at the moment yet to open up a merch store, but we'll see. I mean, it'll happen eventually. The 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the sinker on the inside corner. Going down in the observatory for the third out is Mason Wynn. The Cardinals, they go down in order. We go to the top of the fifth inning. 1-0 Milwaukee. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. So you have to give credit to Gasser here. Because he has been very, very effective. Basically coming in, I believe this is his 7th start of the year. I wish I could find my mouse. Where'd it go? Okay, that's weird. What's going on here? Okay. This is not fun. Okay. Okay. Where did this bloody thing go? See if it can reconnect here. Oh, it's finally back. Oh. Oh. All right, we're back. Oh, that's weird. Luckily, it didn't mess with the stream. Okay. Yeah. Technology. Am I right, folks? Am I right? It's actually able to go to a Mariners Cards game in April Got fan back there, so I enjoy some Cards games too. Yeah. The AL West this year is an interesting bunch. Total crapshoot. I mean, if the Cardinals were with their record in the AL West, they'd be cruising to a division title this year. They just so happen to be in one of the most competitive divisions in baseball. We are back for the top of the 5th inning. Due up for the Brewers is Cooper Pratt. 6, 7, and 8 in the Brewer order. The first pitch from Dobbins. A slider strike on the outside corner below the belt. And the count is 0-1 to Gary Sanchez. He is in at catcher. Given the second game off to Contreras. Here's the pitch. A slider down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Monroe. Was making dinner in the kitchen with headphones. Had to come all the way back to the office to watch you find the mouse. Yeah. It happens. What can I say? Luckily, I was able to figure out. Gary Sanchez 0 for 1 with a lineout. 216, 8 home runs, 22 RBIs in 51 games. The 1-1 from Dobbins. A sweeper just a little too high, and the count is 2-1. It was on the outer third. Funny, because he got a more generous call the previous pitch. He comes wide. He deals. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. And the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Now, here's the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, so Gary Sanchez will take first. And now the Brewers have a runner on first with nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. Oh, no. Not this again. Everybody getting me? Let me know in the chat. Now, here's Sal Frelick, righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch. 4-seam fastball called strike on the inside quarter below the belt, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, the internet is being a little spotty again. I apologize, everybody, but I should be back. Coming set, the 0-1 pitch. Chop foul down the first baseline and out of play on the splitter away to Frelick, and the count is 0-2. So Gary Sanchez walked, so they have themselves a leadoff walk. Dobbins is at the stretch. It's the top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, everybody. Hopefully there's no more interruptions. Coming set is Dobbins, the 0-2. A splitter well inside and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Okay, fantastic. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the feedback on that. It's very important, very helpful. It's a 1-2 count. Coming set is Dobbins at the Birds. Leading off first is Gary Sanchez. The 1-2 pitch. Hit on out there to center field. Going over a couple steps to his right is Nate Church. He makes the catch in center field for the first out of the inning. Put out 8 in your scorecard for Sal Frelick for the first out. Now here comes Cooper Pratt. In his last at-bat, he led off with a stand-up triple to right field. A triple and a run scored. He looks a bit older than his 21 years would suggest. The first pitch. Strike, slider, down Broadway. The count is 0-1. So there's a runner on first with 1 out. It's an 0-1 count. Gary Sanchez not entirely fleet of foot. Stepping up inside is Herrera. From the stretch is Dobbins. He deals. Hit down the first base side and going into the stands. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Okay. I appreciate that, Delta Leader. Thank you for letting me know. So it's an 0-2 count here to Cooper Pratt, who's 1 for 1 with the triple and the run scored. Runner on first with 1 out, top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Milwaukee. Righty-righty matchup. Coming set at the Birds is Dobbins. He deals. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Pratt did not decide to try and pull the trigger on that one. Infield defense for the Cardinals is largely straight away with Alec Burleson holding Gary Sanchez on at first. Coming set at the Birds is Dobbins. On the outside corner, sets up Herrera. Here's the pitch. A sweeper down in the dirt, blocked very well there by the chest protector of Ivan Herrera, and the count is 2-2. Bounce out next to the plate. Herrera's not a bad receiver. He really isn't. He just can't throw guys out. He probably could throw out Gary Sanchez, but even that, I don't know. Coming sets Dobbins. He holds the 2-2 to Pratt. A sinker just off the plate away, and the count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, God, Q-Man. I mean, you're reminding me of my childhood. Coming set is Dobbins. The 3-2. Ball 4 on the sinker, down and away, so the Brewers have runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. 72 pitches so far for Dobbins. He picks up the rosin bag, trying to get a little bit more traction there on the baseball. No, Q-Man, first off, I just think it's so great that you're a fellow Italian-American. You and I, we have a lot of the similar programming. Now, it reminds me, because my Italian grandparents came over from Italy both in 1946 separately. They didn't meet until they were in the United States. But, man, that cooking, there's nothing like the cooking from your Italian grandmother from the old country. Now, here's the 9-hitter Ortiz. He's 0 for 1. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch from Hunter Dobbins. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. My Italian grandmother, she did not speak much, but she didn't need to. Coming set at the Birds is Dobbins. The pitch. Hit to the right side and into right field. Picking it up on a hop there is Jordan Walker. He throws it back in, and it looks like they will keep the runner there at second, and now the Brewers have the bases loaded and 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. So Hunter Dobbins is in all sorts of trouble right now. I do not know if there's any action out there in the Cardinal bullpen, but Ali Marmol will, be a little less laissez-faire, get somebody up and going here before it comes too late. Back to the top of the order, and here's Christian Yelich, who's 0 for 2. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Not the guy you want up in this situation. Coming set is Dobbins from the stretch. The first pitch to Yelich. Foul down the third base side, now to play on the slider away. The count is 0-1. Neftali Acosta, a name I just can't say enough. From Miami Beach, Florida. Yellow, my brother. Good job from Miami, Marlin. Dion. The 0-1 pitch. Four-seam fastball down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1 to Yelich. Right now, the best thing that could ever happen would be a ground ball double play to end the inning. But Christian Yelich, like I said, he's still very much a pro. He may be hitting 244, but he is dangerous. The 1-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the curveball, down and away. Swinging over the top of that one is Yelich, and the count is 1-2. Common sets Dobbins from the stretch. The base is loaded with 1 out. It's a 1-2 count. The 1-2 to Yelich. Hit to the right side and goes foul on the slider in. The count remains 1-2. My grandma came over in 1918, 1919. Great-grandparents were original Hill day cooks. Oh, wow. Infield defense, a modified double play shift depth towards the right side with the lefty Yelich. From the stretch is Dobbins, the pitch. A splitter away and out of the zone, slightly over the righty batter's box, and the count is 2-2. Dobbins comes set at the Birds. The 2-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3 on the curveball, down and away for the second out of the inning. That was the 80th pitch for Dobbins. He really broke off a curveball just when he needed it. Yelich went down to one knee on that swing. So clearly he was having trouble squaring it up. Now, here's the third at-bat for the lefty Lara, the center fielder, making his major league debut. He's 0 for 2 with the bases loaded here. Here's the pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball whispers over the black of the inside corner just below the belt. The count is 0-1. down in AAA. 78 games, 321, 9 home runs, 42 RBIs for Lara. Coming set at the Birds is Dobbins, the 0-1 pitch. A splitter out and away and out of the zone over the right at batter's box. The count is 1-1. 98 likes, 278 people watching. Hit that like. Listen to Nick charging with the Vanguard. Coming set is Dobbins, the 1-1 pitch. A splitter down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1 to Lara. Luis Lara is definitely in the biggest at-bat of his major league career at the moment. Righty-lefty matchups. Coming set at the Birds is Dobbins, the 2-1. A slider just low on the outer third ruled a ball, and the count is 3-1. Nowhere to put him. Dobbins has to throw a strike. He comes set. He deals. Hit to the right side and past a diving Weatherall into right field for a base hit. 1 run will score. Staying going into third is the runner. And that will make it a 3-0 Brewer lead. It turned out to be a 2 RBI double given the throw to third, which allowed Luis Lara to move to second, and the Brewers have a 3-0 lead, and runners on second and third with 2 outs. So that is his first major league hit and his first 2 major league RBIs. It was a 4-seam fastball down and in, just past a head diving there from J.J. Weatherall, went out there into right field. Luis Lara is obviously pumped. That was the 85th pitch for Dobbins. And Milwaukee extends it to a 3-0 lead. Anyone wake up Ollie yet? Well, there's actually a discussion out there on the pitching, on the mound, between Dusty Blake, Hunter Dobbins, and the entire infield. So clearly they're discussing something here before Bryce Terang comes up. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. Bryce Terang, he is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. His 4th overall today between the 2 games. Runners on second and third with 2 out in the top of the 5th inning. 2 already in for Milwaukee here in the top of the 5th. They have a 3-0 lead. From the stretch is Dobbins. The first pitch, Terang. A sweeper away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. And make sure that second out is recorded there. Bryce Terang 1 for 2 with a double. The 1-0 pitch. Popped him straight on up out there into left field. Giving chase out there is Nate Church. He's under it. He makes the catch for the 3rd and final out of the inning. However, Milwaukee, they pushed 2 more across. They extended to a 3-0 lead. So after 4.5 innings of play, it is 3-0 Milwaukee going to the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm Paul D. And if you haven't done so already and you are enjoying my call of Redbird action here in the second game of this double dip this evening against Milwaukee, please do leave a like. I greatly appreciate it. It's helping get this out to more Cardinals fans and baseball fans, and we all know how important that is right now. And if you're not subscribed and you like what you see, hit subscribe. We really do have a lot of fun here. It's a lot of fun watching these young Cardinals play. With that said, 3-0 Milwaukee going to the bottom of the 5th. So, due up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 5th inning, presumably facing Gasser, is going to be Farameen, Blaze Jordan, and Nate Church. 7, 8, 9 in the Cardinal order. Yeah, I mean, he really came through there. There's no question. Luis Lara, 3rd major league at bat. Puts 2 across to extend the lead. You can't complain. Besides, his numbers down in AAA were very good. It's interesting. Because the jump between AAA and the majors is unlike any other jump. So, guys, there are plenty of guys out there that are quadruple A players where they, can make a career of it in AAA to some extent, obviously. But they were never quite good enough to really break the majors in any reasonable way. I'm not saying that's the case with Luis Lara, but it does make you appreciate just how big the jump is. All right, we're back here for the bottom of the 5th inning. Fermin, Blaze Jordan, and Nate Church. Luis Lara is back out in center field, giving Garrett Mitchell the second game off. 3-0 Milwaukee. Now here's Jose Fermin against Gasser, a lefty-righty matchup. Jose Fermin is 1-for-1. Here's the pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway below the belt, and the count is 0-1. Coming set is Gasser. The 0-1 pitch. A four-seam fastball ruled a ball on the inside corner. The count is 1-1. David, I'm enjoying your broadcast. Very professional. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Coming sets Gasser. He deals Fermin. Hit down the first base side. Now to play on the four-seam fastball on the outside corner, and the count is 1-2. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jose Fermin, who steps out of the box. Gasser, in his 4+ innings of work, has only thrown 45 pitches so far. He has been very economical. He comes set below the letters. He deals to Fermin, and he popped it up there in the infield. A very shallow pop, caught right there by Gasser behind the mound for the first out of the inning. He jammed him. He jammed him. That's the long and short of that one. He jammed him. So there's the first out. So Jose Fermin pops out with a put-out 1 in your scorecard. Coming sets Gasser. The first pitch to Blaze Jordan, hit to the right side, picked up right there by Vaughn, wide of first, on the line for the second out of the inning. So Blaze Jordan lines out 3 in your scorecard for the second out. And now here comes the lefty, Nate Church. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup. Nate Church is 0-for-1. Coming set is Gasser. The first pitch to Church. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball, up and in, and the count is 0-1. Time is granted to Gasser, who needs to retie his left shoe. So he's just wrapping that up. He basically stays in the stretch like a lot of pitchers on the younger side do. You don't have to change your mechanics when some guy's on base unless you do a slide step. Gasser comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball on the outside corner, and the count is 0-2. Paul, May West and W.C. Field played right outside that sandwich shop you like on Daggett Street. Oh, you mean Gioa's with the hot salami sandwiches? Yeah. They have actually quite a few locations in the area now. I think they have one in Maryland Heights. I think they have one in St. Peter's, maybe. Maybe it's O'Fallon. Coming set is Gasser. The 0-2. Fouled straight back of the four-seam fastball upstairs. The count remains 0-2. I love Gioa's, man. They're great. The garlic bread for the sandwich, warm. Oh, it's heaven. Gasser comes set. The pitch. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper away for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. 1, 2, 3, go the Cardinals. We go to the top of the 6th inning. 3-0 Milwaukee here in Game 2 of the Double Dip in downtown St. Louis on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. I also like Charlie Gito's. They're very good. Missouri Baking Company is basically like my spiritual home for Italian pastries here in St. Louis. I've mentioned this before when calling a game, but they actually catered Kristen, Mrs. Game Mike's, and I's wedding back in 2017. I know there's been a bit of a struggle there recently over the last year plus in regards to the ownership, but, let's put it this way. In New York, Little Italy it exists. There are Italian restaurants, but that's not the place you go. You go to Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. It's near Fordham University. And granted, there's a lot of Albanians that are operating Italian restaurants, but Albanians have a lot of experience with Italian cuisine. Well, just look at the history of the Second World War. You can kind of put that one together. However, the Hill in St. Louis is every bit as good. I remember once on Yelp somebody that was trying to trash. I think it was Missouri Baking Company. And it was very clear that they had a very special disease that a lot of people from my home territory have, which is nothing is edible west of the Hudson River, which is just absolutely embarrassing because here in St. Louis is some of the finest Italian food you will find in the United States. And I had to put a rebuttal in there. It's like, just because these guys serve up gooey butter cake, doesn't mean they're taking second place to Venero's. Now, the first pitch to Vaughn. Strike, sinker on the inner third below the belt, and the count is 0-1 from Hunter Dobbins. It's a righty-righty matchup. Vaughn is 0 for 2 tonight. He is in the cleanup spot. He's down at first base. Coming winds, Dobbins, the 0-1. A splitter down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Never had it before. Well, I would definitely recommend it if you ever find yourself in the city. The 1-1 pitch. A four-seam fastball down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Dobbins winds. He deals. A splitter away goes over the lefty batter's box, and the count is 3-1 to Vaughn. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the sixth inning. 3-0 Milwaukee here in Game 2 of the double dip. Dobbins winds. A 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, so he issues a leadoff walk to Vaughn. The Brewers have a runner on first with nobody out here in the top of the sixth inning. That was the 92nd pitch for Dobbins. There has to be somebody up in that Cardinal pen right now. Now, they're going to the pen. Ollie Marmol's coming out. And it looks like we got ourselves a left-hander coming in. Who we got here, folks? Let's take a look. Find out in a month. Schuster, the lefty Schuster. Okay. I'll give you his numbers in just a moment. This is undoubtedly part of the flurry of moves that the Cardinals made earlier today prior to the doubleheader. In fact, let's take a look at the transactions here real quick. Yeah. So the Cardinals picked up the contract of left-handed pitcher Jared Schuster from the Memphis Redbirds. Ryan Fernandez was optioned down to AAA earlier. Big surprise after last night. And, of course, Max Rachik is on the 60-day. Okay, so Jared Schuster, the left-hander, 27 years old, 6'3", 220 pounds. In 2026, 4 games, a nothing record, a 2.35 ERA in 7 2/3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.17. Down in the minors with Memphis this year, 4-3 with an 8.78 ERA in 18 games, started one of them. Has a hold, 27 2/3 innings pitched, where he's given up 45 hits, 31 runs, 27 of them earned, allowed 7 home runs. Yikes. You know me, I'm a positive guy, but I know a train wreck when I see it. So, Jared Schuster coming in. He's going to face Bowers. So clearly he's going for the lefty-lefty matchup here. On deck is Gary Sanchez. So a runner on first, nobody out. Hunter Dobbins given the hook. He went 5+ innings. The runner on first is still his responsibility. Now here's the lefty Bowers, 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch from Jared Schuster. A slider down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Gave you his numbers both at the Major League level and AAA a moment ago. Coming set above the belt is Schuster. The 1-0 pitch. Four-seam fastball ruled the ball just off the outside corner. Count is 2-0. Oh, do I think Carson's would deliver via door? That's a long trip. The 2-0 pitch. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is 3-0. You know what? Actually, no, Q-Man, I think there actually is a service that would do that. Perhaps, but it would cost a pretty penny, obviously. It's called Gold Belly. I bet you Carson's would probably participate with that. The 3-0 pitch. Four-seam fastball strike down Broadway, 93 miles an hour, and the count is 3-1. And as I recall, well, you know what? That's interesting because DoorDash does at least they did at one time, like long-range deliveries, so long as you're willing to wait a couple of days. Common set Schuster. Runner leads off first, the 3-1. Strike, cutter on the inner third, thigh high to Bowers, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. But believe me, I wish I had Carson's around the corner. It is my favorite prime rib. I don't get it very often, but when I do, oh boy, it's a good day. Time is granted by the home plate umpire. Stepping out of the box is Bowers. I hear Chicago Chop House does a good one. Gibson's, of course, does well. Coming set at the Birds is Schuster, the 3-2. Ball 4 on the changeup in the dirt, and the Brewers have runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Magic Man. Cool setup. Also, go Brewers. Hey, Brewers fans are definitely welcome here. We are open to all baseball fans that, are, good, positive, well-mannered members of the chat. We're always welcome. Now the first pitch to Sanchez. Strike. A changeup on the inner third at the knees. The count is 0-1. It's a lefty-righty matchup. Gary Sanchez is 0 for 1. So there are runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. 3-0 Milwaukee here in Game 2 of the split doubleheader. Top of the 6th inning. Coming set above the belt is Schuster, the 0-1. Swinging strike on the changeup away. Swinging out of his shoes there is Gary Sanchez. Oh, boy. Well, I can't answer for everybody, but I love barbecue. 4-11 Shirley. Runners lead off first and second with nobody out. It's an 0-2 count. Coming set is Schuster. The 0-2 to Sanchez. A slider just off the inside corner ruled a ball, and the count is 1-2. Oh, that was a hard take. Infield defense slightly shaded towards left with the righty Sanchez. Outfield defense playing straight away. Jared Schuster comes set. He deals. Swinging strike 3 on the changeup, down and away for the first out of the inning. Let's see that thing. Yeah, that was actually a really good circle change. Had some good late break away there. Arm side action for the lefty Schuster. That's probably the best pitch he's thrown in this entire appearance. 1 of 10. Now, Herrera's going out there to chat with Schuster. Runners are still on first and second with 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, 3-0. Now, Jackson Churrillo is coming in as a pinch hitter for Sal Frelick. My guess is they will probably rearrange their defensive linemen in the bottom half of the frame, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. That makes it a lefty-righty matchup. Clearly, they didn't want lefty-lefty in this case. Runners lead off first and second with one out, top of the sixth inning, 3-0 Milwaukee. Schuster comes set. The first pitch to Trio. And he hits a fly ball out to right center field. A few steps over is Nate Church. He makes the catch. He tosses it back in. Both of the runners stay right where they are. Flying out with the put out 8 to center field is Trio for the second out of the inning. Now, something that I was just thinking about, because I was just reflecting on my conversation earlier with Liam. Now, here's the rookie Cooper Pratt, 1-for-1 with a triple, a walk, and 2 runs scored. He is the 8-hitter. How many people are scoring the game right now? And it looks like there's a pitch clock violation by Schuster, and that'll make it a 1-0 count. So Schuster is penalized by a ball, and the count is 1-0. Every time they come out there, they start pointing out their watch. Pitch clock violation. Come and set Schuster. The 1-0 to Pratt. Strike, a cutter on the outer third below the belt, and the count is 1-1. Rengel, F820. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. The 1-1 pitch. A changeup out and away off the plate, slightly over the left batter's box. The count is 2-1. I'm curious, how many of you are actually scoring the game right now? If anybody, really. That's something I've been always kind of curious about. Back into the box is Cooper Pratt. Runners on first and second with 2 out. It is a 2-1 count. 3-0 here in the top of the sixth inning. Coming set is Schuster. The 2-1 pitch. Hit to the left side. Fielded there by Mason Wynn. Tosses to Weatherall at second for the force for the third and final out of the inning. So Dobbins and then Schuster in and out of trouble, but nothing across. After 5.5 innings of play, it is 3-0 Milwaukee going to the bottom of the sixth inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my Call of Redbird action here on Game Mike tonight and you haven't already left a like, I would greatly appreciate it, and it certainly is helping this growing channel grow further. In addition to getting this out to more Cardinal fans and baseball fans more generally. I am calling almost every Cardinal game. And I always emphasize almost with the italics. And if you're not subscribed and you like what you see, hit subscribe. We have a lot of fun here in the chat. It's a good time. This is an exciting team. With that said, 3-0 Milwaukee going to the bottom of the sixth inning. Due up for the Cardinals is 1, 2, 3 in the order. Weatherall, Herrera, and Jordan Walker. Let's go back to the chat. Oh, Dennis. I have scoring books for the Cardinals going back to 1980, but I haven't scored a game in 10 years. Fair enough, Dennis. Fair enough. It's a fun thing to do. There's a little bit of a learning curve there. I've done it before myself. Obviously, I don't do it while I'm doing this because there's just too much to focus on. It just doesn't give you the time. But I always find it interesting when people score stuff. All right. Oh, wow. Javier. Let's go. The one from Venezuela. Uruguay. Luis Lara. Cousin. No kidding. Let's go with everything. God is great. Well, if you're down in Venezuela right now, I certainly hope all is well with you and yours. I know your country has just undergone a horrific natural disaster. And it certainly hasn't gone unnoticed, at least by me and quite a few people here at Game Mike. So hope all is well. KCM with the $5 super chat. Here's to 1,000 and thousands more to come. Thank you so much, KCM. Now, here's the first pitch to Weatherall. A sinker right down Broadway from Gasser, and the count is 0-1. I really appreciate that. That is absolutely lovely, KCM. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. J.J. Weatherall 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. A sweeper down and in and out of the zone. Clock 79 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Next pitch is going to be Gasser's 54th. So in 5+ innings of work, he's only thrown 53 pitches so far. J.J. Weatherholt, a ground out and a line out. Coming set below the letters is Gasser. He deals. Strike, a sinker right down Broadway, right around the knees. The count is 1-2. Hearts with Venezuela indeed, KCM. I can't even imagine what that is like. I've seen the images from Caracas. Not good. Say the least. The southpaw Gasser sets. He deals. Hit to the right side, fielded by Trang on the ground. Throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. Edgar Williams, I've followed the Cards since the late 1970s. You put a lot of time in. Absolutely a lot of time in. Braylon Beasley with the $5. Braylon, you don't have to do this. Well, first off, I'm very appreciative and very grateful. Thank you. KCM, you mean millions to come. I guess we'll see. Now, here's Ivan Herrera. He's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Four-seam fastball called strike. Inner third above the knees. The count is 0-1. He's 0 for 1 with a walk, though not a hit by pitch, amazingly. Nobody on with one out. Bottom of the 6th inning. 3-0 Milwaukee. Coming set is Gasser, the 0-1. There's a fly ball out there into shallow center field. Coming in as Luis Lara calls for it. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So, Ivan Herrera's 0 for 2. No, thank you so much, Braylon. I really appreciate it. Also, I got your email. I'll respond later. Now, here's Jordan Walker, 1 for 2 with a single. Coming set below the belt is Gasser. The first pitch to Jordan Walker. A sinker away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. KCM. Honestly, wish the Brewers had someone like Paul D. I'd be tempted to cancel my viewing subscriptions. You know, I've said this to you before, KCM. That person's coming. They haven't started yet, but they're coming. The 1-0 pitch. Hit on up the middle and into left center field for a base hit. Picked up there by Lara. And so Jordan Walker has his second hit of the night. It's a 2-out single. And the Cardinals have a runner on first with 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And here comes Nelson Velasquez. No, that person's coming, KCM. You know, KCM, if I may ask, just because that's the way I am, you don't have to oblige. But is there a first name that I can address you by? Because you come here, you're such a great presence, and, you know, or you could make up a name. I'd be totally cool with that. You can just go by a moniker. Common sense Gasser, the first pitch to Velasquez. A sweeper strike on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. Lefty-righty matchup. Velasquez is 0 for 2. He's in with this platoon against left-handed pitchers that Ollie Marmol likes to throw out there. Runner on first with 2 outs, 0-1 count. Gasser sets. The 0-1. Hit foul behind home plate on the four-seam fastball in, and the count is 0-2. Corey. Hey, Corey, there we go. Cool. I'm glad we're on a first name basis now. There we go. No, don't worry. You're going to get your Tom Grassi. Let's go Brewers. There you go. Runner leads off first. It's an 0-2 count. Velasquez is in the box. Coming set is Gasser. He deals. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. Clock 94 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. Gasser's been incredibly impressive tonight. He's done all of this on 62 pitches, over 5 2/3. It's a 1-2 count. Gasser comes set. The pitch. Hit on out there to left center field. Going back, looking up, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Nelson Velasquez. And that will cut it down to a 3-2 Brewer lead. Oh, he goes yard, does Velasquez. And Milwaukee now has a 3-2 lead. Oh, he went yard on that one. Oh, Nelson. Lord Nelson all the way over the fence in left center field. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Lord Nelson with the 2-run shot to left center field in Busch Stadium. Just gets over the shrubbery. And the Cards are back in this game. Now here's Alec Burleson. Here's the first pitch. Swinging strike on the cutter upstairs, 90 miles an hour, and the count is 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Foul tipped on the four-seam fastball away, and the count is 0-2. So clearly, this platoon against left-handed hitters paid off there as Nelson Velasquez, I believe, hit his 4th home run of the year. 65 pitches so far for Gasser. Cummins sets Gasser. The 0-2 to Burleson. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Yeah, Molina was great. We were so lucky. Gasser comes set above the belt. He deals. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-2. Cardinals have some real grit. Real professional badasses. Yep, pardon my French. It's cool. That's only 3 letters. I'll let it slide for now. Yeah, here's a 2-2. A sweeper away and out of the zone. The count is 3-2. This season, Alec Burleson against left-handers hitting 183. Coming set is Gasser. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled straight back on the sweeper, in on the trademark, and the count remains 3-2. So Lord Nelson with the 2-run bomb has the Cardinals back in this game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Credit if you get it. Gasser comes set. Time is called by the home plate umpire. Stepping out of the box is Alec Burleson. Next pitch is going to be Gasser's 70th and 5 2/3 innings of work. 128 likes, 303 people watching. Hit that like button, everybody. This is like the 31st game in a row. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled straight back on the sinker. Once again, in on the trademark. The count is 3-2. That's a good question, Q, man. I think she did a few times, but at that point, they would just buy it off the shelf. They'd just get like Barilla or something like that. Common sets Gasser. He deals to Burleson. Hit foul down the first base side and out of play on the sinker in. The count remains 3-2. Corey. Molina was by far one of my favorite Cardinals as a Brewer fan. Class act. Yeah, he really was. A tough, smart ball player, too. Over 2,000 career hits. You never realize that sometimes until you look. The 3-2 pitch. Foul tipped out there in front of home plate. Coming forward is Gasser. He picks it up. He throws to first in time for the 3rd and final out of the inning. But not before the 2-run bomb over to left center by Lord Nelson Velasquez. 2 runs, 2 hits, no walks, nobody left on. We go to the top of the 7th inning. It is 3-2 Milwaukee. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Oh, cool. Let's see here. Get that up here real quick. Magic Man -2. I like to keep an eye on Brewers' opponents, so you got a sub from me. Cheers. And cheers to you. Thank you so much. All right. Charles Acosta. Welcome back, Charles. Out of the mouth of Johnny Bench, and is confirmed that Yadier Molina is the best catcher to ever play the game. Defensively, baseball IQ and ability to take charge of the game, no one can compete. If Johnny Bench is saying that, game over, ended debate, right? Defensively, he was incredible. But like you said, he has over 2,000 career hits. if he is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, that's a crime. I'm sure he will be. I don't believe he becomes eligible until next year. But, I mean, that's a guy who should get in with 85, 90% of the vote on the first time out, at least as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, with all respect to Ollie Marmol, I've said this a lot. I do think, ultimately, the manager the Cardinals need, and probably secretly kind of want, is Yadi Molina. The thing is here, is that Chaim Bloom is definitely one of those heavier hand on the manager type GMs, and I don't think that's going to really work with Yadi or Molina. At the very least, they'll have to work out something that makes sense. Now, here's the first pitch from Schuster. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. The 9-hitter Ortiz, the third baseman. Lefty-righty matchup. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Top of the 7th inning. 3-2 Milwaukee. The 1-0 pitch. Hit on out there into left field. Going back is Nelson Velasquez looking up, and it is gone. A solo home run for Ortiz to left center field, and that extends the Brewers to a 4-2 lead. Joey Ortiz, the 9-hitter, goes yard on that one, and the Brewers get one back, and they are up 4-2. Okay, Corey, that's interesting. So Contreras is obviously, when he hits free agency, I mean, we don't know exactly what the economics of the game is going to be after the lockout. Now, here's Christian Yelich. He's 0 for 3. Lefty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball, outer third at the knees, and the count is 0-1. Coming Juan Schuster, the 0-1. Fouled down the third base side, out of play, and the count is 0-2. Schuster looks in. He winds. The 0-2. Fouled straight back on the slider, and the count remains 0-2. John Williams, we love good baseball. I know people want to beat the Cards bad because we are in the playoffs so much. I totally understand that, and thus the Brewers, Cubs, etc. all got better. The 0-2 pitch. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. As far as the free agency stuff, I mean, William Contreras, catchers are a difficult proposition because they take so much wear and tear. Coming one, the 1-2 pitch. Shot foul down the first base side and out of play on the sinker. The count remains 1-2. Schuster looks in. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 7th inning. One already in for Milwaukee. Here's the pitch. A changeup down in the dirt, out of the zone. The count is 2-2. Let me see here. So, Contreras. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3. Down, hacking goes Yelich for the first out of the inning. So he's 28 years old. And when you're dealing with catchers, it's very difficult, especially like anything around free agency, because they get north of 30, and then before you know it, they're not really able to catch. They find themselves at first base. It's hard to say. Now, here is Lara. Here's the pitch. A sinker down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Lara hitting from the right side here against the lefty Schuster. He's a switch hitter. He's 1 for 3. Coming one, the 1-0 pitch. A slider down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. And yeah, he's right up there against free agency. It's going to be a tough call because he is definitely a really important player. Here's the pitch. Fouled back on the cutter down and in. The count is 2-1. So, Corey, I think it's hard to say what they're going to do there. Like I said, the economics of the game are going to change after the lockout in one way or the other. I think they almost have to. especially with the loss of all of those regional sports networks. That's a lot of money that's not coming in. The 2-1. A changeup just off the outside corner, ruled a ball, and the count is 3-1. I was talking about this a little bit earlier with Liam. We were just going back and forth on the economics of the game coming up. Infield defense mostly straight away, playing back. Same with the outfield. Nobody on with 1 out. It's a 3-1 count. Coming one, the 3-1. Swinging strike on the cutter upstairs, and the count is 3-2. That was clocked at 87 miles an hour. So it's hard to say how it's going to all work out. But I would imagine if the Brewers were to sign him as such, there would have to be some expectation he'd end up playing first. The 3-2. Ball 4 on the changeup, up and away. So Luis Lara works a 1-out walk here, and the Brewers have a runner on first with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. 1 already in following the solo home run by Ortiz. You know, the thing that'll be interesting, and once again, like I said, I can only, it's hard for me to talk about future moves without knowing what the game's going to look like. Here's Bryce Terang. He's 1 for 3. Here's a pitch. A sinker down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. A double, a ground out, and a foul out. Leading off first is Luis Lara. A big lead thrown over to first. He gets back in time. The count remains 1-0. I mean, I know it's not the sexiest conversation to have in terms of baseball, but I don't know exactly what to expect in 2027. Here's a pitch. Hit on out there into center field, and it falls in. Picked up on a hop right there in front of the warning track. Coming around third is Luis Lara. Here comes the throw. Here's the play, and he is safe at home on the RBI double by Bryce Terang, and they now extend it to a 5-2 lead. The thing I'm genuinely curious about is guys like, for example, Jacob Mizorowski. You know, when, say, that, you know, some version of arbitration in the new CBA, what that's going to look like. Runner leads off second. Here's the first pitch to Vaughn. A cutter off the inside corner, ruled a ball, and the count is 1-0. Andrew Vaughn is 0 for 2. Strikeout looking, a foul out, and a walk. Lefty-righty matchup. Schuster comes set below the Birds. Trang leads off second. Here's the 1-0. A slider down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-0. Oh, I remember Oscar Taveras very well. That was an absolute tragedy. That kid had such a future ahead of him. I think all of us were shaken by that. The 2-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball outer third below the belt to Vaughn, and the count is 2-1. Yeah, any time a supreme talent like that is cut down, you know, just coming into the flower of life. I mean, you don't want to think about it. The 2-1 pitch. A changeup down and in the dirt. The count is 3-1. It really just, you know, people are born and they die every day. But there are some things, certain situations, certain people in your life, whether you actually know them or you don't, where it just gives you just an immediate reminder how delicate a human life really is. Coming set is Schuster, the 3-1. Strike, a cutter down Broadway below the belt to Vaughn, and the count is 3-2. Wabi-sabi, it's not going to be a good year financially for Major League Baseball if it gets dragged out. And the union right now has very poor leadership. The 3-2. Hit on down into foul territory just near the tarp, giving chase is Burleson. It falls in. He catches himself on the tarp. He's fine. The count remains 3-2. However, the lockout's going to happen. The question is, how quickly can the two sides come to terms? because in many ways, the owners don't have much of a choice because of the whole regional sports network thing. They're making about a third of the money they did when they had the regional sports networks. You know, like Cardinals.tv, Brewers.tv. It does not bring in the same money. 3-2, there goes the runner. Hit on up there towards second. Booted there by Weatherholt to the right of second. Picked up by Wynn. Everybody's safe, and there's runners on first and third and one out. A rare error there by Weatherholt behind second. Oh, boy, you do not see that often from J.J. Weatherholt. It was hit right up the middle. He was shaded perfectly. Had he picked it up on the backhand, as he often does, he would have gotten the runner quite easily, and there would have been a runner on third with two out. Now there are runners on first and third with one out. And here comes the lefty Bowers. He's out in left field for game two. Lefty-lefty matchup. 0 for 2 is Bowers. The 0-2 pitch. A sinker down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Brewers have the mids for at least 5 more years. He's making $800,000 this year. Yeah, but I mean, that's going to go up presumably with some form of arbitration over time. And he's putting together just like some of the best numbers with some of the best stuff all time. He's going to make some money, even before hitting free agency. The 1-0 pitch. Swinging strike on the changeup, down and in, and the count is 1-1. Once again, it all breaks down to whatever the economics of the game are after the lockout, which is hard to project. But, you know, so long as he stays healthy and productive, he's going to be a wealthy man for generations. The 1-1 pitch. A cutter down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Yeah, even that major league minimum, well, I don't know if it's still the major league minimum, but yeah, you know, just like a little over that $500,000 a year mark. That's more than a lot of people make, no doubt. The 2-1 pitch. A slider down and away and in the dirt. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. So there's runners on first and third with one out here in the top of the 7th inning. 2 already in for the Brewers. They've extended it to a 5-2 lead after Nelson Velasquez put up a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th that made it a 3-2 game. They're trying to put it out of reach here. Schuster comes set to 3-1. Strike, a sinker on the outer third thigh high, and the count is 3-2. Back onto the bump is Schuster. He has thrown 43 pitches so far. It's a full count. Runners on first and third with one out. Top of the 7th inning, 5-2 Milwaukee. Coming set is Schuster. The 3-2 pitch. Foul back on the slider away. The count remains 3-2. You know, it's interesting. The Cardinals' payroll, I think, is like officially $109 million, but a lot of that is dead money being paid to guys who are no longer on the roster, like Nolan Arenado, for example. They didn't send in that trade. Part of that was that Arizona would take part of the money, but not all of it. In terms of the 26-man roster, I think they're only paying them a little over $54 million. The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 on the sinker, down and away, and now the Brewers have the bases loaded with one out here in the top of the 7th inning. Schuster has lost any semblance of effectiveness. Obviously, the error there, presumably an error. In fact, it was not ruled an error on J.J. Weatherall. I think he got some favorable home scoring. Admittedly, it was a more difficult play to make, but it is also one he usually makes. Now, Bowers is being pinch run for here by Garrett Mitchell. Herrera's out on the bump talking to Jared Schuster. The bases are loaded with one out here in the top of the 7th inning. 2 already in for Milwaukee. They've extended it to a 5-2 lead. Stepping into the box is Gary Sanchez. It'll be a lefty-righty matchup. Yeah, that's basically what it's at the moment. Gary Sanchez in his career at the bases loaded, 326, 6 home runs, 81 RBIs. I've seen a few of those. Coming set, Schuster, the first pitch. A slider down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Nowhere to put Gary Sanchez here if you're Jared Schuster. Thank you so much, Corey. Coming set above the belt. The 1-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball, whispers over the black of the outside corner above the knees, and the count is 1-1. Looking in is Schuster. Pressing it into the pad is Herrera. He comes set. He deals. Hit on out there into left center field and in for a base hit. Cut off there in the gap there by Velasquez. At least 2 runs will score, and that will extend it to a 7-2 Brewer lead. Gary Sanchez there with the 2 RBI single to left center. And there are runners on first and third with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. They are trying to put this one out of reach. Both Terang and Vaughn score on the play. Looks like Schuster's being hung out to dry here to save the rest of the bullpen. Now here is Jackson Churrillo. Pinch hit for Sal Frelick earlier. He was put out in left field. There's a pitch clock violation by Schuster, so that'll add a ball, and it's 1-0. Bowers moved from left to right with that change. Coming set, the 1-0. A changeup bounces out of front of home plate, blocked there by Herrera, and the count is 2-0. Why keep him in? My guess is he just Ollie Marble at the moment is not exactly managing to win. He's just trying to protect the remainder of the bullpen, I'm guessing, unless Schuster just can't get anyone out. The 2-0 pitch. A changeup down and away and out of the zone. The count is 3 balls and no strikes. Well, I'm glad you like my broadcast, Ronald. Thank you. The 3-0 pitch. Strike, a cutter down Broadway, and the count is 3-1. Believe me, when it's coming from a fan on the opposing team, I take that quite seriously. And thank you for coming by and spending part of your Tuesday night with me. The 3-1. Hit to the right side and past J.J. Weatherall into right center field. Picked up by Nate Church. He throws it on home. One run will score, and that will extend it to an 8-2 Brewer lead. Oh, boy. This is getting gross fast. Jackson Churrillo with the RBI single. Scores the runner easily from third. Now there are runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. 8-2 Milwaukee. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Ivan Herrera. He's going back out to have a little chat with Schuster. 52 pitches for him so far. I don't see anybody but a player there on the mound at the moment. Usually they cut to a cam if there's a coach or Ollie Marmol coming out there, but that does not seem to be the case. Schuster is having trouble getting out of his own way. Not great. Not great for him. And so the powwow out on the mound is broken up. Runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. 5 in so far for Milwaukee. They have been absolutely feasting on Jared Schuster, who I would imagine after tonight is going to... Wait. There we go. Now here's Ollie Marvel. Took him long enough. He's coming out to the mound. And I got to imagine we got ourselves a pitching change here. Yep. Gordon Graceffo. There we go. The righty Gordon Graceffo is coming in for the Cardinals. He's going to relieve Jared Schuster. And boy, oh boy, Jared Schuster has had an awful night. 1 1/3 innings pitch. This is his final line. 1 1/3 innings pitch. 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and of course the home run allowed to Ortiz. Now here comes Gordon Graceffo. We've seen a lot of him lately. The 26-year-old right-hander. In 36 games this year for the Cardinals, he's 6-1. Interesting. A 3.19 ERA in 42 1/3 innings pitched. 20 strikeouts in that time and a whip of 1.09. He is definitely putting on innings on that right arm. Oh, boy. Yeah. So we have ourselves a pitching change. Took him long enough. You know, I mean, I get what's going on here, right? He's trying to save his bullpen. He was hoping Schuster could luck into another out. That's not happened. Yeah, it's not fun to watch, Sam. Believe me, I share the sentiment very much at that. Well, luckily I have some Taco Bell to look forward to after the game. That usually makes things a little better. All right, looks like we are back here for Gordon Graceffo. He inherits runners on first and second with 1 out. Both of them are the responsibility of Jared Schuster. Stepping into the box is the rookie shortstop, Cooper Pratt. 1 for 2 with a couple of runs scored and a walk. It's a righty-righty matchup. Runners lead off first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. He comes set, the first pitch. Swinging strike on the slider, down and away, and the count is 0-1. Gave you the numbers for Gordon Graceffo just a moment ago. I'll read that out in a moment, Corey. Looking in is Graceffo. He and Herrera are having a lot of trouble getting on the same page. He steps off the rubber. In fact, Gordon Graceffo, was even demonstrably frustrated. He's like, no, not that. Not that. Runners lead off first and second. Trio at first, Sanchez at second. It's an 0-1 count. Here's the 0-1 pitch. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Oh, brother Joe. Huh. Graceffo comes set at the Birds. He deals. A sinker inside and off the plate. The count is 2-1. He steps back into the box. Alrighty. Graceffo sets at the Birds. The 2-1 pitch. Hit down the left field line and past a diving Blaze Jordan down the line into the corner for a base hit. Picked up by Fermin out there in the corner. He tosses it back in, and that looks like it will be a bases clearing double for Cooper Pratt, and that extends the Brewers' lead to 10-2 here in the top of the 7th inning. Oh, boy. It is just all Brewers here at the moment. All right. KCM, I just want to take my daily moment and thank the Cubs for prying Craig Counsell away from us. Blessed. Pocket pancakes for life. Yeah, there's definitely some hard feelings there. Now, here's Ortiz, so they batted around. Here's the first pitch. Four-seam fastball strike on the inner third below the belt. The count is 0-1. Joey Ortiz led off this inning with a solo home run to left center field. Made it 4-2 at the time. They put up 6 since then. Coming sets Graceffo. He deals. A slider down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Great headphones, but they do overheat you. Coming set is Graceffo. He holds. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there into center field and picked up by Mason Wynn just behind second on the outfield grass for the second out of the inning. So, finally the second out is recorded. That's progress. Now there's a runner on second with 2 out here in the top of the 7th inning. And here comes Christian Yelich, his second at-bat here in the top of the 7th inning. He struck out swinging his last at-bat. He is 0 for 4 tonight. Righty-lefty matchup. Pratt leads off second. Here's the first pitch. A slider down and in and out of the zone. Clock 90 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Graceffo sets at the Birds. The 1-0. Foul down the third base side. Now to play on the four-seam fastball in. The count is 1-1. Graceffo sets. The pitch to Yelich. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. So it's a 2-1 count. 2 out here in the top of the 7th inning. 6 across for the Brewers here in the top half of the frame. Cooper Pratt's down there at second following his bases clearing double. Righty-lefty matchup. Coming sets Graceffo. The 2-1. A slider down and in and out of the zone. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Sitting up on the outside corner is Herrera. The 3-1 pitch. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play, and the count is 3-2. So, in the 2 remaining games in this 5-game set, the next one is tomorrow night, first pitch 6:45 p.m. Central Time. And then the 5th and final game on Thursday night is 6:45 p.m. Central Time. The 3-2 pitch. Hit on up the middle, fielded there by Mason Wynn, a couple hops just to the left of second. Throws to first in time for the 3rd and final out of the inning. However, the Brewers, they put up a 6 spot in the top of the 7th inning. It is 7th inning stretch time down at Busch Stadium. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mic. 10-2 Brewers going to the bottom of the 7th. Good to go, Jimmy. Good to go. Roger Baseman, are we throwing BP now? That was definitely what was coming out of the hands of Schuster, no doubt. How do I feel about them changing a thumbs up to a heart? Yeah, I saw that. I've seen them kind of dip in and out on that, actually. It's interesting, I think. I mean, I'm looking here, and I still see the thumbs up, thumbs down. It may be something that's unique to shorts. I don't know. Because I've definitely seen them on shorts, but I don't see them here like on standard videos, long-form videos, and like live streams and whatnot. So, I mean, YouTube does all those sorts of things, periodically fiddling with things, like the hype thing now. I'm not even entirely sure what that's all about. Like, what I mean is, it's not that I don't get the concept. I just don't understand how that's any different to something gets a lot of likes that's getting pushed out in the same way anyway. But hype is not really, the hype button there is not exactly something that concerns most live streamers because they're doing it live, and as far as I know, the hype button is not available when the live stream is happening. It's available for a time after you watch it on replay when it's over. I mean, YouTube is always fiddling with things. You know, they're never satisfied with their product. Now, here's Mason Wynn. He's 0 for 2. Gasser out for his 7th frame. Here's a pitch. Four-seam fastball, strike on the outer third at the knees. The count's 0-1. That was the 72nd pitch for Gasser in 6+ innings of work. Cardinals down by 8 here in the bottom of the 7th inning here in the second game of the double dip. Here's the 0-1. Foul back on the cutter in. The count is 0-2. Oh, J.M. Jones. So much has happened. Gasser comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Hit to the left side. Fielded there deep in the hole by Ortiz. He throws to first. He gets Mason Wynn at first on the hop for the first out of the inning. Ortiz has been making some pretty impressive plays there. At times throwing from the shallow left field grass right up against the third base line to get runners. Now here's Jose Fermin. Lefty-righty matchup, 75 pitches for Gasser. Nobody on, 1 out, bottom of the 7th inning, 10-2 Milwaukee. Lefty-righty matchup, Fermin's 1 for 2. Here's the first pitch. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone, 92 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Gasser sets below the letters. He deals. A sweeper low on the outer third, and the count is 2-0. Yeah, I mean, Ortiz obviously has been very important tonight. It's a 2-0 count. The 2-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway. Taken all the way is Jose Fermin. The count is 2-1. I'm sure it's all data and AI driven. That's what's ruining a lot of user interfaces. Sometimes they can have unintended knock-on effects. The 2-1. Chop foul down the third baseline on the cutter, and the count comes even at 2-2. Oh, Q-Man, you're not bad luck. You're anything but bad luck. Let's put it this way. Obviously, I always want the Cardinals to win, but I'd rather have you here in a 10-2 loss than a 10-2 lead without you. Here's the pitch. A sweeper down and in and out of the zone. The count is 3-2. Back into the box is Fermin. Nobody on, 1 out, bottom of the 7th inning. It's a 3-2 count. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball out to left field, shallow left center field. Underneath it is Cooper Pratt calling for it. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Yeah, I mean, the pitching and the development by the Brewers in their minor leagues of their pitchers is remarkably impressive. I don't think you can be a fair observer and not give them credit for that. Now, here's Blaze Jordan. He's 0 for 2. Lefty-righty matchup. Nobody on with 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th. 10-2 Milwaukee. Here's the pitch. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball down Broadway, and the count is 0-1. Stepping out of the box is Blaze Jordan. Tighten up his batting gloves. It's an 0-1 count. Coming sets, Gasser. He deals. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. He's back onto the bump. Next will be his 84th pitch of the evening. Comes set below the letters. The 1-1 pitch. A cutter downstairs and in the dirt. The count is 2-1 to Blaze Jordan. Blaze Jordan offensively has really fallen off here. Right now, he's hitting .227 in 66 at-bats with a home run, 13 RBIs, a .595 OPS. Gasser sets the pitch. Swinging strike on the sweeper, down and in. Clock 79 miles an hour. Swinging over the top of that one is Blaze Jordan. The count is even at 2-2. Gasser comes set below the letters. The 2-2. Hit out there into left field. Coming in is Chirrillo. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. After 7 full innings of play, it is 10-2 Milwaukee here in the second game of the split doubleheader. We head to the top of the 8th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Let's see. The Cubs right now are beating the Orioles 5-2 going to the bottom of the 8th inning in Baltimore. So that answers your question. But of course, there's also the ticker on the bottom there that updates about every 15 seconds for all the scores that come across. That is not something that is done manually by me in real time by any means. Due up for the Brewers in the top of the 8th inning is going to be Luis Lara, who's moved from center to right, Bryce Terang, and then Vaughn. So 2, 3, 4 in the Brewers order. Presumably Gordon Graceffa will be out for a second frame, but we'll find out together. Ooh, the draft, I think, is very soon, in fact. Let's see. Okay. It's on Saturday. First round is on Saturday. Let's see here. Well, the Cardinals, they do not pick in the top 10. In fact, they pick 13th overall in terms of their first selection. I'm curious what they do with that, honestly. And then once the draft is complete is then when you start seeing serious trade talks regarding the deadline. We have ourselves a pitching change here, I believe. Brian Torres is in to pitch. And here's the first pitch to Luis Lara. A floater for a ball up and away, and the count is 1-0. Yes, a position player is pitching. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there into right field. Coming in is Jordan Walker. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Brian Torres, the super utility guy, will oftentimes start in a corner outfield position. He can play almost any infield position. We've seen him at short. We've seen him at second. We've seen him at third. Is in to pitch. So, Sam, that's what I was referring to in regards to Ali Marmol wanting to save the other arms of the pen. Here's the pitch. Hit foul down the first baseline and out of play. The count is 0-1 to Bryce Terang. He's 2 for 4 today. It's a righty-lefty matchup if it really matters at this point. Once you have a position player in. Here's the 0-1. Hit to the right side. Picked up on the line. Stabbed there by Blaze Jordan, who's been moved over to first for the second out of the inning. So clearly we have something going on here. So Blaze Jordan has been moved from third to first, which would suggest that Alec Burleson's getting the rest of the night off. Now here's the first pitch to Vaughn. A floater up and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. So this is the first time since I've started calling any game here on YouTube that I've seen a position player pitch for the team I'm calling for. Here's the pitch. Hit to the right side. Picked up by Wetherall on a couple ups. He boots it. It goes into right center field. Picked up by Jordan Walker. So tonight, right now, Vaughn is at first. It has not been pretty for him defensively, to say the least. Now, here is Garrett Mitchell. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped on the floater up and in. The count is 0-1. I almost don't know how to call it because he's just throwing him in there like it's the home run derby or something. Maybe he'll try and throw a knuckleball. We'll find out together. He's back onto the bump. Sits to the extreme first base side of the rubber. Righty-lefty matchup. The 0-1. Hit to the right side. Picked up by Wetherall on the line for the third and final out of the inning. So, No runs on 1 hit, no walks, 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is 10-2 Milwaukee here in the second game of the doubleheader. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Yeah, this is an experience for me, an initiation rite, I guess, of some sort. Oh, boy. Justin Beasley. Well, even though the Cardinals are playing bad, we are cruising into 150 likes. That's a pretty good consolation prize, I will admit. But seeing Brian Torres out there on the mound, you know, throwing ephus pitches is, well, it's an experience for yours truly. Jose Oquendo used to do that. Third base coach, I believe the third base coach extraordinaire. So many years under Tony La Russa. Due up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 8th is going to be Nate Church, J.J. Weatherall, and Ivan Herrera, 9-1-2 in the order. Good part of 1 inning, and we go from a 1-run contest to this demotivational storm. Oh, crap. Yeah. Not fun. But, hey, there's a David Eckstein bobble night to look forward to on Saturday. Bobblehead night, I should say. I saw Yadier strike someone out once. If there's anybody who could. Yeah, we did get to 1,000 subscribers today, Roger. How are things going on the surface of the sun? How you been? I know you've been here for most of the games, but hey, you know what? With this ridiculous game, I'm going to keep calling it, but I'm going to open up to something that I've considered doing during a rain delay, and I still may do one when one comes, but this is almost like that, except the game is just kind of laboriously moving forward. Let's do an AM AA. Ask me almost anything, which is to say don't get too personal. You can ask about baseball, various professional things I've done, and I'll answer them. Now, here's the first pitch to Nate Church. A sinker strike down Broadway from Gasser, who's out for his 8th frame. He's only thrown 87 pitches. The count is 0-1. No, you can't. No, you can't, Eric. This is very true. The 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the sweeper, down and away, and the count is 0-2. Well, thank you so much, J.M. Jones. So, yeah, if you want, ask me almost anything. Just don't get too personal, and I will do my best to answer the questions. Coming set is Gasser, the 0-2. Fouled down the third base side, now to play on the four-seam fastball, but away the count remains 0-2. Fantasy Football Reaper. This will make you this will make us sellers at the deadline, and I think we are better for it. Romero and O'Brien are likely to be gone along with May. Probably the 0-2 pitch. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Bad Mike. Well, I would definitely not do that. What do I think about it? Okay. So there's a few things to keep in mind here. Coming set is Gasser, the 1-2. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper away for the first out of the inning. So there's always occasionally some thrill-seeking folks that like to get on top of tall buildings in New York City, either to scale them or to basically like parajump off them. I've seen that happen from One World Trade Center. Not the Twin Towers, the replacement. So-called Freedom Tower. Here's J.J. Weatherall. He's 0-3. Lefty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there into left center field. Going over is Chiriot into the gap. He makes the catch on the run for the second out of the inning. And my feeling is that, one is I would definitely never do it because I have a healthy fear of heights. But it's one of those things where, yeah, it's very irresponsible and they deserve to be taken away in cuffs, which they were. You know, just as the one was proposing to the other, as I recall. Tried to storm earlier monsoon season. Supposed to be bad this year. Interesting. The first pitch to Jimmy Crooks. Swinging strike on the sinker, up and in. The count is 0-1. Jimmy Crooks is in here pinch hitting for Ivan Herrera, who's getting the rest of the night off. We can part with May if it brings a handful of young pitchers. Invariably, there will be a team that will overpay for him at the deadline, in which case it almost makes sense to deal him regardless of where the Cardinals are at that moment. Common sets Gasser, the 0-1, and he plunks Jimmy Crooks there on the right arm, so he'll take first with 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Roger lives out in Tucson, Arizona. What could we get for Marmol? Half a bag of Skittles, maybe? Paul, did you live in New York City during 9/11? I was 14 years old on September 11, 2001, and I was living in southwestern Connecticut, little under an hour outside of New York City. It's a bedroom community for a lot of people who commute into Manhattan every day for work, and so we were profoundly affected by it. And, yeah, I have a lot of memories of that day that were very visceral. There were certain parts on the southern Connecticut shoreline in southwestern Connecticut where you can actually see southern Manhattan on a clear day. It looks like we got ourselves a pitching change. They're going to the bullpen, so Gasser goes out and throws 7 2/3 innings of 2-run ball. Jimmy Crooks at first base is still his responsibility. He's only thrown 94 pitches. He had one heck of an outing here for Milwaukee. And they're going to the reliever Yoho, so we have ourselves a pitching change. Due up is Jordan Walker. And so from a clear day, because it's only 13 nautical miles from that southern shoreline to southern Manhattan, you could very clearly see what was going on down there. And for a long time afterwards, I went into Manhattan for the first time after 9/11. Let's see here. Hopefully the YouTube is having some issues right now. Hopefully it's not any big deal, so if you missed anything. I went back into Manhattan for the first time, actually on the evening of November 11, 2001, back when they opened up Lower Manhattan south of Canal Street, and you could still smell it. And there's a very specific smell for everybody that got out of Manhattan that day that was working there but was not in the World Trade Center, of course. And a lot of people describe it as a very distinct burning plastic. And that's precisely how it smelled at Ground Zero even 2 months later. So I definitely have very vivid memories of that. I was not in Manhattan or New York City on the day. I remember when I first found out, I was a freshman in high school. It was like my second week of high school. And I was in third period Navy ROTC. And needless to say, you know, I was in high school, I was surrounded by a lot of jackasses. I would come to find that somewhat true in life in general, not so much in my everyday. And certainly nobody here by any means. Now here's the righty Yoho in relief of Gasser. In 6 games, 8 2/3 innings, pitch an ERA of 4.15 and a whip of 0.92, 9.35 Ks per 9 for Craig Yoho. He will come in and face Jordan Walker. On deck is Nelson Velasquez. And the XO of the unit, there's about 150 cadets, came in, and we were just like learning the very beginnings of doing drill out in the hallway at the time. Now here's Jordan Walker. Runner on first with 2 out. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch. Sinker away, rule the ball. The count is 1-0. Jordan Walker's 2 for 3. And he came in and he was like jokey about it, like, oh, you know, a plane hit the World Trade Center. And I remember hearing that at the time, and I was only a freshman. Common sets Yoho. The pitch hit to the right side. Picked up on a line there by Vaughn for the third and final out of the inning. So no runs, no hits. 1 hit by pitch, 1 left on. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It is 10-2 Milwaukee. I'm Paul D., and this is Bombers Game Mike. And so one thing you got to always know about me is I've always been kind of a nerd about, like, in terms of history and international relations, things like that. And so when he said that, I was very cognizant in my mind. I remember the 93 bombing of the World Trade Center by Ramzi Youssef, who thankfully right now is rotting in the Alcatraz of the Rockies. And so when he said that, I remember just like speaking out of order, being like just looking at him, breaking rank and telling him straight up, exact words, "That's not very goddamn funny." I didn't get reprimanded for it because it wasn't, and everybody else knew that. The kid was a jackass. And he went back in. Then he came back out joking about it again, went back in. Came out a third time, came just like dead serious because he realized, oh crap, something really serious has just happened where thousands of people have died. And we all got called in. And I remember the principal came over the PA system kind of trying to describe what was going on. We didn't have like cable in the classroom there at that point, but I had a pretty good idea of what had happened. I remember that I went to fourth period algebra right after that, and my algebra teacher at the time just had us work on an assignment quietly, and he literally sat at his desk the entire time in front of the class, head down like that. Once that ordeal was finished, I went to fifth period Japanese, where I was informed that my dad was there to come and take me out of school, which I was very thankful for. And then I got home, and this very much speaks to the age I am, the generation I came up. I went on to my AOL account and just plastered there on the front page. This was my first sight of it. I heard radio reports coming home, driving home. My brother was in the car as well. And just seeing that explosion on the South Tower, and it said in big black letters, "America under attack." Now, here's the first pitch from Torres. A floater up and in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Gary Sanchez, the right-hand hitter, is 1 for 3. And then just getting a flurry of instant messages asking me if I'm all right, and everybody I know is all right. Chop foul down the third base side and out of play. The count is 1-1. And luckily, I didn't know anybody who perished in the attacks. There were definitely people in the area in the town I grew up in who did. Here's the 1-1. An Ephus pitch ruled a ball high, and the count is 2-1. I don't mean to get in on a downer here, but yeah, so I'm going to tell you the story. Now, the 2-1 pitch. A floater off the outside corner ruled a ball, and the count is 3-1. Brian Torres is still on the mound for the Cardinals. It is a 10-2 Milwaukee lead. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4 up and away, so Sanchez takes his base. Torres issues a leadoff walk. But yeah, that's basically my answer to your question, Justin. Here's the first pitch to Jackson Chourio. Hit on out there into center field. Going back is Nate Church. He tracks it down in front of the track for the first out of the inning. Gary Sanchez stays right there at first. Alrighty. They're projected to take center field with the first 2 picks and a catcher named Binks in the 70s. Okay. Here's the first pitch to Pratt. Down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Runner on first with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the pitch. Hit to the left side. Stabbed on the line there by Mason Wynn for the second out of the inning. This is what I would say about this. You know, this is obviously not a great outcome tonight. You don't want to get swept in a doubleheader. But at the same time, I would urge people to keep some perspective. Now, here's the 9-hitter Ortiz. He's 2 for 4 with the home run. Here's the pitch. A floater out and away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. We need to remember, we went into this year thinking this would be the worst team in the NL Central. They are not. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Hit on out there into right field. Underneath it is Jordan Walker. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the ninth, 10-2 Milwaukee here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. And the fact of the matter is right now, this is the takeaway that I have, right? This ain't the outcome you want. Nobody wants to watch baseball that, is poor. Both of the first 2 games of this series have been very competitive. Tonight was a blowout. These things happen. But here's the thing. Compared to where the Cardinals were last year at this time, still bloated with veterans that are making a lot of money, the difference here is this. We do have a young and exciting team. But they are young. They are incomplete. There are still talent in the minors that haven't come up and that are going to make major contributions when this team is truly back on the top of the NL Central, God willing, and top of the National League in baseball. So you got to take it from that perspective, at least I do, because this team has so vastly outperformed expectations, and there's still good baseball left to watch and good baseball left to play. The Brewers are as good as they get right now. They just are. And it'll be interesting to see where they go. Nobody can tell the tale because we're only a little more than halfway here in the season. We're coming into the All-Star break after Sunday. So I wouldn't take away too many big lessons from this, right? Doubleheaders are always strange. You're always making a flurry of moves to make sure you have enough pitchers in the bullpen because you're playing at least 18 innings. And that's what it is. And it's a weird 5-game series. So if you're a Cardinal fan, yeah, this is dejecting. Nobody wants to watch this. Nobody wanted to see Brian Torres go out and throw a bunch of eephus pitches. But compared to where the Cardinals were going this time last year, which was kind of something like this in terms of trajectory, this team is very much going the other way in the long term. And as fans, it's very hard sometimes to have that perspective of the longer term. But how lucky have we been to have this team be where it is at the All-Star break? Now the first pitch, Velasquez. A sinker strike down Broadway. The count is 0-1. And for some of you, my words may be in no way compelling, and that's your prerogative. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but I'm giving you my perspective. Here's the pitch. A change-up away, ruled a ball, and the count is 1-1 to Velasquez. A foul out, and a home run. Yoho comes set, the 1-1. Hit on out there into left center field. Charging in is Churrillo. He makes a sliding grab in left center field for the first out of the bottom of the ninth. See, John, well, good news. It's a 5-gamer. We can still get 2 wins out of this series. It's certainly possible. Brian Fisher, I think St. Louis is very close to Milwaukee right now. The team and a few more pieces, and then things change. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped on a check swing by Torres, and the count is 0-1. Corey with the $5 super chat. Thanks for putting in the extended day and creating an awesome place to hang and listen. Here's the pitch. Foul back on the sinker in. The count is 0-2. Well, Corey, I'm more than happy to do this. Even in a 10-2 blowout, I'll be the first to tell you, because who else is going to tell you, there's no place I'd rather be doing exactly what I am doing. The 0-2 from Yoho. Chop foul down the first base side, now to play. The count is 0-2. And a Jordan Walker All-Star season. Who would have thought that coming into spring training, right? We got to be optimistic about the Cards team. I tend to agree with that, Hodag. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3 on the changeup away for the second out of the bottom of the ninth. Oh, you're welcome, John. You know, that's one thing that I always try to do is try to keep a greater perspective. And this team has potentially a very bright future. A lot of things are up in play that are out of our hands and, frankly, out of these players' hands, too. First pitch from Yoho. Hit on out there into right field. Coming in is Luis Lara. He makes the catch for the third and final inning, and that is your final 10-2 Milwaukee. They sweep the doubleheader here, and they have taken the first 3 of this 5-game series. So, tomorrow night, First pitch scheduled 6:45 p.m. Central Time. I will be live here on Game Mic with the live stream play-by-play at 6:35 p.m. Central Time. 10-2 Milwaukee is your final. A disappointing day for the Redbirds, dropping both halves of this double dip down at Busch. The first one was much closer, 4-3 and 10-2 in the nightcap. I want to thank you all so much for spending part of your Tuesday night here with me, and especially including those who are here for both sides of the doubleheader. Some of you are able to make it to one and not the other, but I am glad to have spent time with all of you tonight. Unfortunate outcome for the Cardinals, but they'll be back tomorrow night. And then they'll be back for the fifth and final game on Thursday night, 6:45 p.m. Scheduled first pitch at Busch, where I'll be starting here at 6:35 p.m. Central Time here on Game Mic. And then the Braves Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the All-Star break. And I will be calling the All-Star game on Tuesday, so a week from tonight, with Liam. I'm tired. I've called a lot of baseball today from Jolly Good Takes, who is a jolly good fella, to say the least. And you know what? He may be British, but boy, that dude knows his baseball as well as anybody that was born in the 50 states and the various commonwealths and territories. I think you'll enjoy that when it comes around. That'll be a fun occasion. Just celebrate some baseball. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Paul and JB and all who there were. Stay cool. Be well, John. I hope things are good in Wentzville, and I hope you have a good night. I hope to see you tomorrow. Ron Lyle, congrats on 1,000 subs. Well, thank you so much, Ron. You've had a lot to do with that. You've been a real booster there in the chat for a very long time now. Dennis, do you think you'll ever do any college football games? Interesting question, Dennis. I'm beginning to prepare to do NFL games. Possibly, but I'm taking it one step at a time, because this is still a Cardinal First channel, all told. Zach, thanks, Paul D. Always a pleasure. You got it, Zach. Jimmy, great call, Paul. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. You have a good night. I hope to see you soon. Roger Baseman, great call. Both games, Paul D. Take care. See you all tomorrow. Be well, Roger. Take care of yourself on the surface of the sun. Josh Bradley, love to Bird Nation. Absolutely. Alrighty, folks. I'll be back tomorrow, 6:45 p.m. Central Time. First pitch at Busch for Game 4 of 5. I'll be here at 6:35 p.m. Central Time. This has been a presentation of Bombers Game Mic. I'm Paul D. Bombers Game Mic, over and out. Be well to you and yours, wherever you may be. Take care and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers to you all. Be well, my friends.